everybody's hearing. I am so sorry about that. Everybody joining the stream, I am incredibly sorry about that. Please forgive me. That was probably blares anybody's eardrums out who's gonna initially start hearing that. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Hello, Kingdom of Annie. It's good to see you. We are joining you all today to be able to talk to you about some future projects that we have going on, and as well to kind of show you what we're up to. So I don't know if you guys can see too much, but Tiffany over there is working on some stuff for the final Owls Marks, the Owls Mark pendants that we are going to be giving away. Not really giving away, but are going to be distributing now that they've been purchased. We have, first off, Chelanese Parliament, good to see you. I wanted to say that we are going to be setting ourselves up to sell the final one. We actually had a back order where somebody had purchased 2, but they only meant to purchase 1. So we have 1 more that is actually available if you guys want to purchase it. It'll be the only one that is available anymore, the very last one. And I appreciate you guys hitting it up if you decide to. Hello, Leona, good to see you. And yeah, so that would be that pendant. The biggest thing that I wanted to talk today about is what we're going to be doing in the future, what the next couple sizable projects are. One of the ones that I've been hyping up on the channel for a little bit is we have been steadily trying to gain some additional ways to consolidate power and to make ourselves more insulated internally. Uh-oh. Ooh. Sorry guys, give me just 1 second on that. There we go. Back to the music. But yeah, so a lot of what we have been trying... first off, I hope everything's okay. It seems like we have a little bit of a weird connection here. I wanted to get across today that we've been trying to figure out a way to focus down and insulate ourselves as far as some of the projects that we're doing to make sure that we are more eco-friendly, to make sure that we are more stable as an internal working. So one of the projects that I'm excited to talk about is I've been dabbling very, very lightly in doing power generation. And so I want to talk about some of the methods that we're trying to go after for that and what that's going to look like. But that'll be a future series on this channel in and of itself. We are still trying to get our forge actually bigger and better. We have now an upgraded forge to an arc furnace, an electric arc furnace, and that's still working and available, but we're hoping to actually be able to increase our output significantly. So before we started sale of any items, we wanted to make sure that we are very consistent in being able to produce a high quality product and be able to produce enough to be sufficient for everybody to use. So in that fashion, I want to be able to set up for everybody these I want to set up for everybody this larger forge, and so that's what we're working on right now. I need to buy actually windings for it, so I'm going to have to buy some large bulk copper wire here in a minute, but that's one of the bigger projects that we're working on. And that as well is going to be able to help us manufacture to get new products out to you guys, and trying to these are all interesting questions. Give me 1 second. We have some news in the chat. Leona said, greetings, AP. Greetings, Leona. Leona said, greetings, everyone. It's good to see everyone hanging out. I appreciate you guys for supporting us. Kingdom of Annie says, hey, Aeternia, do you think I can revive New Maryland as a territory of Annie? I don't know. You'd have to contact the person who had originally started New Maryland. New Maryland was something that is actually an interesting throwback reference. We made a video a while back talking about states and creating territories for your micronation, and we had started that under an initial proposal by one of the viewers of the channel, somebody who wanted to create the territory of New Maryland for the Empire of Aeternia. And so they had set it up and they were starting to run it, but pretty quickly things got excuse me. Let me cut off this ad. Nice. I don't know how I'm feeling about that one. Also not super hyped about that one. There we go. Okay. Perfect. So, as I was saying, we were, ooh, Master Deontay, it's good to see you. Deonite, it's good to see you. So we are talking about essentially a reference to New Maryland. Somebody was asking if they could revive New Maryland. You'd have to check with the people who started it. I would say that's kind of their domain. If you're referring specifically to the New Maryland that was part of the Empire of Aeternia. Master Deonite says, hello, how's it going? It's good to see you, Master Deonite, and I'm glad everybody's hanging out with us. I don't know actually how many views we have currently on the stream. I'm worried that the stream is like messing up a little bit, but we are hanging out. We're trying to figure out as we continue on what some of the things that are going to produce the highest returns for us as possible, and what investments are better or worse for that. So the biggest motivation in that, and the biggest driver in that, is for preparations for our land purchase. As we try to develop our own land, and as we try to cultivate what it is that we're doing, I really hope that we will bring along with that technologies and cultural capabilities that will allow us to surpass a lot of the initial hurdles that we would have normally going into such a project. So that's ultimately what some of these technological innovations and attempts are going to be pushing toward, is trying to master that and trying to allow us the most robust and most well-supplied internal structure that we can possibly have. So there's a lot dealing with that's going on. There's a lot that's continuing to grow as far as our empire. Things have been really, really steady. It's interesting. Through most of my micronational career thus far, things have been very up and down, or things have been very, active or inactive. But right now, things are keeping at a good pace and continuing to grow. So I am appreciative of that. It does make things a little bit busy. So there are certain things that we're trying to find ways to better connect with. One of those things is filling out our applications and our really answering the applications that have been sent to us a little bit more quickly. So we haven't updated the micronational map in a while. That's something we're going to want to jump on. We have not been able to post on Instagram and Twitter as much as we like, so we're going to have to jump on that a little bit harder. And we're going to have to be able to respond especially to these citizenship applications and foreign dignitary applications. We do always take precedent on our citizenship applications first, because of course they're the most pressing for our empire right now. But as we continue, we need to make sure that we are providing high quality service and connection to our empire, to as many people as possible. So trying to do that is the best way to keep us going forward, and that's what we're shooting for right now. So trying to continue with that, trying to get ourselves positioned to where we keep this steady pace, we keep this steady growth, and we are able to ultimately be well equipped and well prepared for the future that's ahead of us. That has been the ultimate goal right now. There, like I said, multiple videos that I'm trying to put out. One of the ones that I'm trying to move forward with, that I've talked about a bit, is our series on the different applications that we have, the different ways that you can interact with the Empire of Aeternia. We've done something talking in brief, in general, about the prestige system, and that's something that kind of encompasses all of these. So now that we've talked about that, I really want to focus in and dive into citizenship and make a video about that. I want to dive in and make one about foreign dignitaries, or about sovereigns. So all of these things are crucial aspects of our empire, and things that people need to understand in order to be able to make informed decisions and grow what they're attempting to do within our empire. We're trying to set up all these systems as fertile land for things to be grown from. And so in developing that and in trying to make sure that that stays consistent for us, developing these organizational structures that allow us to work more fluidly are important. Being able to actually get in those citizens is something that's crucial for us, but handling the amount of people that we have and making sure that our government is running smoothly, and making sure that all of our output, all of our economic output is running smoothly, is tied integrally into how quickly we can process new people as well. So it's kind of a hard thing. You don't want to throw people in as Eternians when they're not prepared and when they don't know everything about what they'll need to in order to be an active and productive citizen. So you want to put as much care and time into citizens and into the development of your nation as possible, but it can be quite strenuous at certain times. The Kingdom of Annie says, Master Giante, no, we're going all the way down to Baylor. Baylor 104 says, hello Baylor, it's good to see you. Thanks for jumping in. White One says, hola, hello Baylor, welcome to, I don't even fully understand that. Oh, we got that ad. Goodness, they snuck that one on me. Gosh golly, okay. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. See, it's interesting. I titled this stream, we have 2 viewers right now. I titled this stream an internal update or something like that. And I didn't put a thumbnail on it. And I was figuring that would kind of entice people into viewing the stream, like an internal, what's going on? But it really is just a focus on what we're doing in the future. And so now I'm thinking I should have branded it a little bit better. But I'm excited to talk about, the progress that we're at and what we're moving forward with. So if you feel like there's anybody who would appreciate the stream and who wants to learn about those kind of things, hit them up. Let them know we're talking about it, because we're trying to grow into that more and more with our own nation. And so a lot of the videos, the pre-recorded content, the higher quality content that some of you guys are really into, especially if you're trying to develop your own nation, especially if you're trying to progress in whatever internal fashion you do in micronationalism. What we're doing essentially at this point, what the Empire is doing at this point, is trying to progress to that second stage where we are really seriously developing an economy. We really are setting up the proper ties with the United States in order to do that. We are grounding ourselves, starting to purchase land that will be designated specifically for our empire. There is a lot to be developed in that and cultivated in that. So there's going to be whole video series about that. And I want to understand what people's mindsets are on these things as we continue forward, because that's part of what helps to develop our series. That's part of what helps to develop the lessons that we impart on everybody. So definitely let us know what you need and what's available for you thus far, what you feel like you've learned. White Wind says, hello, German Empire. White Wind says, have you checked your email? Because it's gone through on my end. Yes, so White Wind, I will say I did get your email. I will upload the video tonight. I'll see what everybody thinks on it. I'm curious. It's I know you said you set it up as a YouTube short, so I'm curious to see how that goes. I will say, it was an interesting idea, and I want to see what else comes from me. I'm excited. The Kingdom of Annie says, Eternia, the reason... Ooh, somebody just subscribed. Whoever that was, thank you for subscribing. I have my widgets messed up right now, so I can't see. It normally pops up on screen, and that's what that noise was. Oh, God. Okay. Very cool. So the noise you just heard was somebody subscribing, which I'm really hype about. But normally I have it as a cute little, like, ducky guy that shows up on the screen. And as of right now, I have my ducky guy messed up, so I need to move it. But I will do that at another point. To get back to everything, Annie says the reason why we want to revive New Maryland is because there's a micronation called East Greenland who has made countless war frauds, stealing ideas and declaring war on respected micronations. So we thought we can revive it before they get the idea. That's like it doesn't matter though. That's the thing that's interesting. So the basis of us developing New Maryland and the person who was going to be running it, developing that, was specifically to increase the economic outputs of the Empire of Aeternia and to develop us as a larger state in the world. And so as we did that, it was because we had connection to other people who considered their land and their property as a part of our empire, as a part of us. And so we were glad to accept that. But it was something that did have very practical and strategic purpose at the time. I would say now we have kind of adjusted our approach, but even more than that, it only had that value because it was connected to somebody who had already shown support and somebody who had said, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. So I'd say if you are, don't call it New Maryland, call it what you want to call it. If you find somebody, a friend or an ally or something, who's willing to grant you their land as a territory, as a part of your nation, you should accept that and start building on that. But don't try and set that up such that you are just trying to claim a name, because the name itself isn't valuable. It's what you can do with it. So don't take New Maryland if you're not the person who started New Maryland. That's their thing. That's their thing to do. Create your own and set it up in such a way that it will be providing for your nation, will help it. That's the value in it long term. If they get the idea, if this East Greenland gets the idea and they take the name New Maryland, that doesn't mean anything. They're not going to get anything from it. So good luck. Leanna says, greetings to Tiffany. Tiffany, Leanna told you greetings. Hey, White Wind says, greetings to Tiffany's laughter in the background. Very nice. Yeah, she's helping. She's for real, like designing all of these things. I appreciate it. She has beautiful calligraphy skills, and so she's actively doing the calligraphy on her packaging. White One says, greetings to Tiffany's laugh in the background. TRC says, hello. Hello, TRC. It's good to see you. And yeah, that's what we're doing right now. We are trying to elevate ourselves to be able to... we are trying to essentially boost ourselves to the point that we can keep really steady in all of these different fields that we're needing to. Because when we start to get steady in one section of what we do and what we work on, it's helpful, it's cool, but it's not. Let me see if I can get Tiffany in here. Hey! It's cool and it's helpful. Beautiful.
Yeah, but my pen's
Let me
running
show it
out.
off. Ooh. 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 These are the packaging. And these will be the last ones that go out ever. Can you believe it? One left. One left in the entire world for sale. That's crazy. But yeah, the point and the benefit of doing all of this for us and trying to do that is because when we get one little area of our development, of our economy, of our production on YouTube, our development technologically, it helps to stabilize everything else to some degree. But more than that, multiple things. Let me get through my thought. Because I felt like it was important. Developing any one of those things is important and helps to stabilize us. But building those things together and proving that you can hold all of them steady shows a higher level of infrastructure, a higher level of resource and support, and a higher level of overall capability for our nation. So we really want to test ourselves and push ourselves to see if we can maintain that high regard for ourselves, and see if we can compete in all factors well. But this is something that's a lot easier said than done. TRC says, how do you get territory peacefully, like without force or anything like that, when almost all the land, if not all, is taken? How do you get territory peacefully? So you can work internally in countries, as micronations do all the time, to be able to develop their infrastructure and develop the connections with people who want to support that. So if a number of people in an area who all have their own, purchased title and deed in hand, and are willing to grant that land to some nation for development, that is progress. There's a lot you can do there. And even if you say, well, that's not your own perfectly sovereign land, okay, when you get enough money and when you get enough development, you can have a number of options. You could the hardest one that people bring up and like to talk about is buying land off of another nation, maybe, but very unlikely. The next one, which would be cheaper and easier, seasteading. Seasteading, build big boats and go out in the ocean and develop on those. The third one, which also difficult and expensive, but also potentially getting more and more practical, a space station or a colony on another planet. These are all things that take a lot of resources. Even the cheapest one, seasteading, takes a lot of resources. But all of these slowly, one by one, start to make your nation more and more sovereign and more declarative in the world. It's hard to ignore something that makes millions, if not billions of dollars, and has all of these places around the world which consider themselves independently a part of that nation. So I think that's the larger idea here, is being able to cultivate that and being able to continue to show that support and grow that. If you're peaceful and you give no reason to disband what you're doing, if you're working and operating within the laws of things, it's people's choice to support you. And if you get enough money and enough capability to be able to leave and create something that is more sovereign and more independent, such that it gives you full autonomy, you can do that. It is just a point in the stepping ladder to proving your worth. You have to prove your worth to those other countries. You have to make yourself known and make sure you never go away. That's how to do it. It's hard. It's a long fought road, but it's worthwhile. Whitewind says buying it. TRC says, I mean, you could, but Whitewind says amazing, Tiffany. Annie says, haha. TRC says if the country owns it, their laws are applicable. Agreed. And you abide by their laws. That's how you do it peacefully. I guess that's the magic of micronations. Leona says, AP, whatever you come up with to sell to help you with Aeternia, I'll buy it. I believe in the cause that much. Tiffany is a great artist. First off, Tiffany is a great artist. Secondly, thank you, Leona. That means a lot. I feel like ultimately that's something that's a bigger deal to us, right? Because I appreciate your dedication. At the same time, it doesn't necessarily benefit you too much to just get like anything we sell. We want that, and I'd be grateful for that, because it does help our cause. It will help us to get where we want to be. It'll help you, from what I understand, to be able to live there eventually, that still being your choice. But the problem here is we want to make sure that we're providing things of benefit. If you are going to purchase that, we want to make the things that we buy, the things that we make, we want to make sure we're making worthwhile products, and more importantly than that, that we're getting better and better at making things that you need and that are actually beneficial to your life. So these are initial starting things that we're trying to invest more and more in. Oh gosh, it's going to be a dark beat. No. There we go. So we want to be investing more and more in things that are applicable and helpful and beneficial to you, and make us an option that you can choose to support in the market, in the larger worldwide market, that helps our cause. So you can say, hey, I'm a productive Aeternian, I'm supporting Aeternian industries and economy, but I'm doing so and also getting some more benefit from that. So more than just design, more than just cultural items. We want to really be able to bring true value to you. And that's a stepping stone. That's what we're trying to get to. One of the biggest ways is through our notes and being able to say, hey, you've invested so much in our notes. We want you to be able to use those. We want you to be able to use those to purchase other items in our store. We want you to be able to use those to elevate the things that you could get in your own life. So that's our goal, and that's what we're trying to attempt. And I appreciate you for helping us get there, because there are just certain amounts of money that are required in order to do larger and larger things. So the more that you've helped us, the more you've been able to make that possible. It's been a long time, but the quality of our notes has improved, like physically, like the printing quality has improved. We have a better printer now. The ease at which we've been able to develop other products has increased. Our ability to create industries like our forging, which is set to come out very soon, is a big part of that. Ability to start developing a boat. All of these things are things that are possible, not necessarily with the money that you've spent, because all of that has gone toward our land purchase, but because of it, because we see the growth, because we see the feedback, it allows us to keep pushing. I am able to invest my money and back my money into Aeternia when you do as well. So that, my side, my role with that is to fund and make sure we have the proper resources out of my own bank account. What you all are helping with is actually to create a land fund for us to be able to grow and develop. So that's where a lot of that's going. Well, not a lot of that. That is where all of that is going. And I will tell you exactly how much that is if you're curious about it. So as you all may know, we have our Imperial Market, our website, where we sell all of those items that we were just talking about. If you go over here to aeternianempire.wixsite.com/Imperial Market, you can actually go down to about the middle of the page and you will see our land purchase funding. One thing you might have noticed, it used to say 620 something 18, 623 18 or something like that. Now it says 770. That is thanks to your purchases. That's thanks to people getting the rest of the Owls marks. That's thanks to people getting more and more of our currency, which I'm actually about to be excited to bring up a few things on, because Drew Freeman is about to jump up, and so is Leanna Taylor. There is a lot that's going on there as well. We may have another newcomer joining us. So on the ranks of the aristocrat board specifically, they aren't a citizen yet, but they are someone who has been quite interested in the development of our economy and our currency. So that's something that is exciting to me, is when you see that 770, that's 7.7% of the way to our goal. 7.7% of the way to land for Aeternia has been developed. This is an incredible achievement, and I think that as we continue on, as we get to that 10%, as we get to that 20%, that 30%, that is not only a measure of how close we are to land, but it's also a measure of what all we are doing as we advance toward that, and as we continue to make sure that we are strengthening the base underneath us, which you all are helping to carry onward. It's hard work, but it is well earned by you all. It's something that I want to put my heart into every single day, because of the people who have shown support for that, of the people who will say, hey, I'll match it, I'll make sure that this happens with you, and that means the world. It really does. This flag behind me wouldn't be here without the support of someone on this channel. All of this development that we've done is thanks to you all, and thanks to what you've done. So as we continue, 7.7% of the way to our goal. This is an incredible age to be an Aeternian, I think. And we're about to continue with new items on the market. That was the other thing that I was going to tell you. Replacing the Owls mark. We have a few ideas floating around for what things will be. Not all of them are going to be the thing that replaces the Owls mark, but they're all going to be interesting nonetheless. And we hope to be able to tinker into new markets. So there's going to be a lot in sort of unpack there. But real quick, Annie says, since we want to revive New Maryland, I need to know who is the guy who made New Maryland. I want his YouTube channel. He didn't have a YouTube channel, I don't think. just connected. We connected. If he does have a YouTube channel, I don't know about it, or I may have forgotten it. I'll go back and check the video to see if I ever said he had a YouTube channel, but I really don't believe he does. Whitewind says Empire of Whitewind has sent a claim into a piece of unclaimed territory on Mars into the Mars Colonial website that I can came across that is official. Very cool. One of the things that's hard about stuff like that is a lot of time those companies, they may not be the same companies that are actually launching rockets to Mars. And the way that, the UN Treaty on Space goes, nobody owns a planet. So if I land there and I start setting stuff up, if there's nobody there already with an actual flag on the ground claim, I can jump in. So I could, if I had enough money before you, I could fly to Mars, the specific spot that you purchased through that website, and then I could plant my flag there and say, now it's mine. And that would be a higher claim. So those things are interesting and they're cool, but I'm not sure how effective they'll be. It is a good step, though. It is a good step in development. Like, I think it is a unique cultural item that you can have and set up for yourself. Don't get me wrong, it's cool. I feel those things for myself, like buying a star for someone or whatever. I'm like, I wish you could really buy a star, but you can't really buy a star because they're celestial objects. You don't own a star. You may be able to name it or whatever, but that's kind of an arbitrary thing as well. Darren says, I'll buy land my own with my partners. That's fantastic. Darren said, AP is working hard for his dream. Me as well. Also, Darren said, hi, guard. Hello, Darren. It's good to see you. Lana says, with seasteading, you really don't need to build a boat. You can buy decommissioned ships. I think you can remove the nation of origin markers. Very cool. Darren says, AP is correct. Quality is so important. It's a constant effort to improve. Thank you very much. TRC says quality over quantity. Agreed. And you all have given resounding feedback in what we have been able to produce thus far. And that means a lot. Whitewind says the last storm of Whitewind made their ship fall apart, which we were starting to make a huge hull of the ship, so we just gave the wood to a lumber mill. Interesting. Darren says, well, first off, good luck. Let me know how that works for you. Do you feel like you've learned better techniques now? Whitewind says, would there be a way I could send you money in the mail for me to get Aeternian notes in return? That seems more convoluted. Like, I'd just be worried about, like, efficiency. I'd be worried about your ability to keep record of that and stuff. Like, I would send you the thing, but then if it got lost in the mail, like, there's not a good way for us to, like, track and to make sure. Can you purchase it on the Etsy? Ideally, that's the best way. If you can purchase them on the Etsy, then I can send them to you. I will mail them to you. That's how we send them. So if you purchase notes on the Etsy, we can mail them to you. But either way, it's going to cost the same price. So I would recommend that. If you don't, I don't know how that would really be possible. Because you could potentially do it to our PO box, but then we'd have to get the money and know what it's for and like relay that back to you. It'd just be difficult. I don't know how well. Plus taxes would need to be taken out. I feel like that's I don't know. I feel like that's I'd prefer it on Etsy sort of thing. Darren says, revenue must never exceed costs and goals must be clearly defined. Oops, other way around. Goals must never exceed costs and revenue must be clearly defined. I guess so. Costs must never exceed revenue intake. Yes. Yes. The Kingdom of Annie says, Hadaway, a citizen in Aeternia, the Minister of New Maryland? No. No, they're not. Yeah, it is, no. They were. It was a thing where with the development of New Maryland, that was going to be like the start of trying to create a citizenship for them. But it ended up falling apart. They didn't end up sticking around. TRC says, hey, 9 viewers. Yeah, I appreciate it. And we have been like steady being good at keeping keeping our viewer numbers up, which I've been super psyched about. Every single like hour that we stay on stream with like 7 viewers, 9 viewers, something like that, it's that many hours of watch time. So when we can stay on a 2 or 3 hour stream and keep that number up, that helps an enormous amount toward just pushing and pushing and pushing those watch time hours to 4,000 a year. Darren says revenue must never. Yep. Annie says, Gastanova, bro. Steven's jumping in saying, bro. Always when I'm trying to head to bed, do the streams happen? Yes. We jumped into a stream right now just to annoy you, Steven. If you guys don't know, that's Master Steven Vince of the House of Treasure, and I'm so glad to have him here with us. White One says, I don't think I could purchase off Etsy. We could mail, but it's risky to be lost and all that stuff. Yeah, that's what I'd be worried about. If you sent cash in the mail, it just could be lost real easy, and there wouldn't be any way to account for it or verify it or get it back. It'd just be hard. It'd be really hard. TRC says, well, I have to work on my micronation, guys. See y'all around. Agreed. See you, TRC. But yeah, there's a lot that needs to be developed here. With our nation and its goals in the future, trying to have a consistent and steady stream of production is key for us at the stage we're at. But even more so now, we are dealing with this idea of trying to advance on different fronts. And so trying to make sure that we have the resources and make sure that we have the capacity and infrastructure to be able to handle all of those different new and exciting fronts is the task, is the thing that we're juggling. And so as we continue to march into the future, it's about making the right investments, I think. And that's been the back and forth here, is how much do you dedicate into a new investment that you think is a good idea and that you hope works out, and how much do you, it keeps jumping, it keeps zooming in and then zooming back out. How much do you actually do that as a means of trying to grow the revenue and the profits of your nation, the abilities of your nation? How much do you invest in a new thing before over the possibility that it'll lose, over the possibility that it won't give you that return? And that's something that's a hard wager to make sometimes, but is absolutely necessary. There's a limited amount of time we have, there's a limited amount of funding we have, so every single move we make is something that is a theoretical wrong step, a potential for a loss and a decrease in support. So trying to figure out our pathway through to getting what we need and making sure that we have prepared properly is the idea. How much do you try and stay maintaining a particular level before you try to increase? When you do all those things, it causes instabilities for yourself, and it causes this need to reflect. So on your structure, on everything you're doing. So those are the types of topics that are going to be coming up in the second part of our micronational economics series, of our how to micronation series. We are talking about continual steps to developing a nation, the next big unlockable dream team goals that you can have for the process of micronational growth, for the process of trying to make the thing that you're doing for other people bigger and better. And that's hard because everybody has their own unique process. Everybody has their own way that they started. We had these videos that their first steps were about, you need to understand these 3 or 4 basic things in order to start the process of growing and developing and trying to form what you're going to be and how you're going to progress economically. But once you've decided on whatever that mishmash of ideas and connections you have to make work, once you have your own seed, whatever that is, when you try to grow that and try to advance that, oh man, is it hard to then navigate from your own unique perspective how to get through its unique obstacles. And I can I am trying to display and describe the widest berth of that, and trying to give as much dissected information and resource that I can to each individual section of that. But there will be plenty of subsections, there will be plenty of overlapping sections, there will be plenty of things that I don't think are directly relevant to every single situation, but that I think a lot of the time can be, out of 5 or 6 different types of economic development or of cultural development, societal development, there may be 2 or 3 that are relevant to your nation, but they're going to be different 2 or 3 for every single micronation. So these are the extensions that we're reaching out to. This is the way that we're trying to progress our our continuation of our series, the thing that's gotten people so excited about us, and the thing that has allowed us to continue to push is refining our own theory and making strides and showing that to you all. White One says, I don't think I've purchased off Etsy. TRC says, well, I have to work on my micronation CL. White One says, I'm only going to be sending $20 in the mail, and I currently have 83, so if it does, I could send 20 more. I would just recommend the safest way to do that. If you yourself can't purchase something off of Etsy, find somebody who could, find somebody who would have the ability. Sure, but also, I would talk to somebody who may have more experience and ability with that, and let them know what you think. Give me just 1 second. Ooh, we're back. Thanks, guys. Yeah, White Wind, I would just highly recommend talking to someone, getting connection to someone who may be able to do that, and may be able to look over kind of what you're doing, and give you support in that. That's difficult. Brandy Lynn Bordeaux says, what would you do if there was a coup attempt? That's a great question, Brandy. The way that we are set up, it's not really possible. It's not that people couldn't leave. Everybody could all of a sudden up and go, we're starting a different country. No, whatever. But they wouldn't actually take any of the resources. So the way that Aeternia is being developed and set up is as a monarchy, where I have the legal ownership and control of everything involved. So the land that's purchased will be under my name. The businesses, the industries that will be developed will be under my name, except for those started by private individuals. So as we continue to grow, there is more and more risk of people walking away, and that ultimately having a large effect on us. But nobody should be able to up and rip apart the nation as it stands right now, because as long as I'm alive and as long as I'm able to continue that, people can come and go as they please, but that's how our citizenship is set up anyway, for people to be able to come in and develop what they would like and leave whenever they feel comfortable, if they ever want to, and to provide for those people who want to stick around. But for us, it's not as much a concern of, are these people going to take what we have? Because they can't really take what we have. It's more so, are these people wanting to stick around, and how to make sure that people stick around, and how to make sure that people are happy and supported in what we're doing. If everybody's happy and everybody feels good, not everybody's going to be happy with everything. That's an overstatement. If everybody has relative comfort, if there is plenty of upward mobility and ability to change things and ability to influence, that is a good platform for most people to be happy and to be comfortable. Those who would want to leave, we could have plenty of resources available for them to do so if they would like. So you could up and take your value and your assets as a person and remove them from Aeternia, and you could do that in collective mass, but you couldn't necessarily just destroy the literal infrastructure because it would be defined under my name and the resources that I have. So I hope that answers your question, Brandy. South North says, hello. Ooh, Tiff's come and join me. Tiff, come hang out on stream. Hey, it's Tiff, guys.
Oh, wait. Greetings to Liana, and greetings to whoever else said the greetings to Tiffany's laugh.
Yeah.
I meant to say that earlier.
Wait, yeah. Hello, guys. So we were talking about, they were like, what would you do if somebody took over your country? And I was like, they couldn't. Not legally possible as of this moment. Republic of South North says, hello. I just wanted to say thank you for helping me in Life AP and the micronational community. Oh, I appreciate that.
I would
thank
say
you for being here.
Liquidate everything. Just be like, all right, you got the name. Now what you gonna do? Like, you have none of our stuff.
Yeah.
You just can't make the same products we made. You can't like have the profits from those products because they go to us because we're the ones who made them.
Yep.
You just have the title.
Yep.
And you can't do anything with the title.
Yep. And then if people still recognize us as the thing, then it wouldn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be hard to claim justification for that. But
I
yeah.
thought it changed.
Yeah, it's cycling through his playlist. But South North says, I just want to say thank you for helping me. Thank you, South North. That's important. Thank you for supporting us. We wouldn't be here without your support. And more important than that, I appreciate that I've just gotten to learn about you as a person. Everybody who jumps on the channel, everybody who jumps on the stream and stuff, whether it's just for like 5 minutes or whether they stay for years, is something that's really cool to see because you learn a little bit about people. There will be somebody who comes in the chat and has the craziest conversation ever for like 20 minutes, and then you never hear from them again. And I'm always curious to learn more and more about those people's lives. There are people who, like Leanna, have slowly come from being someone who's watching the streams to being someone who's supportive of us and wanting citizenship to being someone who's eventually our first aristocrat and who's helping us to develop our plans for land. There's all sorts of difference in who you meet and how you come by them. We're about to...
What do you want with the burgers?
As far as on them or like on the side? You want to do like chips? We have those chips.
Oh.
Yeah, we could do that. And we could even, if you want, I can make us some like veggie stuff. But we can do like veggie stuff on the burgers, and then we can do like chips on the side if you want.
Veggie stuff on the burgers. It's not gonna stay on the burgers.
No, not like, but I just mean we can get like, we have tomato and we have lettuce and stuff like that that we can put in.
We don't have no tomatoes.
Right. I can do.
We have lettuce.
Okay.
We have a bunch of others that we just don't have tomatoes.
Makes sense. Okay.
Because we didn't eat the last one, so I didn't get any more.
Yeah. Dinner plans. We're trying to figure out dinner stuff. In fact, I'm being a bad boyfriend right now, and Tiffany's cooking. I need to go help her, but she was sweet enough to let me stream tonight and for us to knock out most of our pre stream stuff ahead of schedule. Everybody has housekeeping stuff to do.
It's Aeternia Day.
Yep, it's Aeternia Day. Yeah, not like it's a holiday Aeternia Day. It's just our it's our day for doing Aeternia stuff internally inside Aeternia at the moment. So but yeah, thank you, Southmore. I appreciate learning about you, and I am excited to continue to hear from you. Prakal says, someone tried to take over my nation and failed. I'm sorry to hear that, Prakal. I'm also trying to contact you. That's one of the updates. They also asked further down, what's the update about? Well, one of that, showing up. One of the updates that I have for you guys is that I'm going to be trying to reach out to the Kingdom of Prakal. As you can see, they sent us an alliance application, and I haven't been able to really actively respond to that and to fully talk back and forth with them, so I want to continue that. and to move forward with that. Hello, Prokol, it's good to see you, and I'm excited to continue those talks. I just want you to know I haven't been ignoring your stuff. It's not that I've not been trying to get to it. It's been a thing for a while. They had to send me their email a couple times and stuff, and I've been slacking on it. So I'm getting to it. Don't worry, there's just a lot of stuff that's been lining up. White Wind says, in a few days, White Wind's 5 months being a micronation thing. I'm still thinking of the holiday name, which happens once every year on January 18th. I believe in you. Congratulations, though. That's great. How do you feel after having been 5 months? White Wind says, fascism is in my nation. Help? Oh, goodness. I'm sorry to hear that. Prokal says, what's the update? AS History said, what the Sealand Civil War? Sealand Civil War? What you mean? Is there a Sealand Civil War? Tell us about it. I'm curious. You're the History Channel. I don't know what that's all about. Brandy Lynn says, what would you do if there was another person's propaganda in your country? It depends on how. You know what I mean? There's a certain... We don't have an official law that's like freedom of speech, but we do generally allow pretty open freedom of speech. So there's been more pullback, especially recently because of the advent of like a lot of really negative things about like the trans community, the LGBT community, and people of different races and stuff that have popped up. There's been racism, there's been homophobia, there's been sexism. It's been kind of cropping up in our Discord server. So we've taken some more actions to address that, and as well as spamming and stuff like that. So you could call that somebody's propaganda, right? You could call those disparaging remarks propaganda. You could call people spamming our servers and like hitting them as somebody's propaganda, you know, trying to take us down, trying to mess with us, or even people just putting up, you know, literally their own propaganda. Join us or whatever, support us. And we try to allow as much as we can until it starts infringing on other people's ability to proceed normally. If someone is interested in connecting with someone and contacting them and reaching out, that's one thing. And that's fine. When somebody starts to infringe upon what we're doing, and how we're operating as the rest of the group and as the rest of it, outside of what you were trying to pitch, if it starts to hinder the general public and starts to, you know, feel in the way, then that's when it'll be addressed more seriously. White One says, also, BTW, call me Emperor C. I made a name. Okay, very cool. EC. Reptile Keeper says hello. Prokal says hi. I have emailed you about it. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Reptile Keeper said sideways face, sad face, sideways open mouth. Prokal says my server's been spammed. Uh-oh. Reptile Keeper says open mouth. Also, one of the things I had to just help prevent that on our server, a free bot that you can get, a free moderation bot you can get, that I had to put in and have been continually updating, is the Me6 bot. Me6 has the ability to stop people from adding people too much. So there will be a whole bunch of times where they'll spam at and a whole bunch of people's names and then just do it like 800,000 times. So that's one form of spamming that a lot of micronations run into, and you can stop that with the Me6 bot. I wanna go in and make like a video about this, a dedicated video. There's so many dedicated videos I need to make, but yeah, I'm gonna be hitting that up soon. Brandy Lambordo said, would you be worried because new nations have a lot of taxes to do with your tax laws? What do you mean by that, Brandy? So I'm really curious as to how, what you're referring to. As far as our development, and as far as the Empire of Aeternia, we pay taxes to the United States in the form of income taxes because our industries, the profit that we make through the Empire of Aeternia, is considered and registered with the United States in some way as a business. And so that's one of the things that we've actually been talking about as one of the next hurdles that we're facing as a nation that we'll talk more about in the future. But that's an important topic, and really focuses on how we are tackling the obstacles that are coming up. So with taxes, we handle taxes with macronations. With micronations, we really haven't had a lot of tax issues, or going back and forth about different nations' taxes. It hasn't been that hard to figure out. Brandy Lynn, Reptile Keeper says, AP, do you remember my redwood? Yes, I remember you said you planted maybe 2 of them. I know you said you had planted at least 1, but that maybe you wanted to plant another one, or that you had one, a second one or something. Kingdom of Precol says, I don't have taxes. Well, not yet. Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the things that's hard. You know, when do you put out taxes? How does that stuff work? All of these things are things that I want to talk about in future videos. These are all important economic things. Edwin says, message retracted. Procol says, message retracted. Edwin says, so how does your government manage? That's a great question. It depends on what you're talking about. We have a full infrastructure that's developed in how we work and in what our process of creating things is, and how we, you know, organize ourselves. But that can be read in our Guide to Foundation of Principles, which is on our website. So you can actually check that out there. It should be on the bottom of the website itself, on the very first page. You can scroll all the way to the bottom and get that. But yeah, that's our main setup. Brandy asks, what is your Discord? Brandy Lynn, our Discord, you should be able to find a link to in the description of this video. So if you click the link there, you should be able to hop right on in. Oh, this one's not free for profit. Sorry, Pink, let me jump off. No, not free for profit. Let me jump off. Free for profit? Nope, sold. Can't use it. Chill Spacey. Can't use it. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Free for profit. Jumping back on. Reptile said, I have 1 redwood. It was 6 inches when I got it 5 weeks ago. Do you want to know how tall it is now? 3 feet? Is it 3 feet tall? I would ask 3 feet tall. Whitewind says, once Whitewind gets its first bit of Aeternian notes, it's going to write to Whitewind's economy and beginning to pay people in our micronation. No, that's not how it works. You can give it to people, but that's not, it doesn't work that. They can't redeem it with us. That's a whole thing as well. You can do it, you can do whatever you want, but it won't be valued or used that way by us. So, and that's a difficult thing. Eventually we want it to be that way, but there are certain steps that we have to take. The first thing, we have to have in order to be able to receive our money back at all, for like goods or services or whatever, we have to be able to get a money transmitter's license. Isn't that difficult a thing to get? We're actively trying to work that and get that. But there's another thing as well that is going to be a significant challenge to that. If we want that money to be accessible as a third party, there's another thing that we have to do, and 2 other third parties. Like if you wanted to take our money and then you wanted to distribute that to other people, there's a whole nother system that has to be delved into for that, for us to be able to do it legally with respect to the United States. So a lot of involved in that, a lot of things that are going to be happening there, but that's something that's yet to be developed. So we're starting to enter our second phase where we're going to be able to, once we purchase our money transmitter's license and we get accepted, we're working up to that, to where we can say, hey, here are the things in our imperial market, you can use this currency to purchase them. And then we have a cycle like that. But as of right now, we can't do that yet because we don't have that money transmitter's license. So you can always purchase our currency and invest in that as a show of support for our empire and to help us raise money for our land. But that won't actually be usable until the case where we get that money transmitter's license. Nova Lytris says, hello, Your Majesty. I have started the crowns. I apologize for arriving late. That's all right, Nova Lytris. It's good to see you, and I'm glad to see you doing well. Brandy says, oh yeah, I'm on my mom's account. My name's not actually Brandy Lynn, it's Tyson. Oh, very cool, Tyson. Well, I'm glad you're like on a parent's account. I'm glad you're you're being like monitored by your parents is an important thing. Whenever you're doing stuff like this, especially, and I've talked about this previously on the channel, but like check in with people. When you're talking to micronations on the internet and stuff, those are all different types of people from all different walks of life. So if you're a kid, definitely make sure that you are checking in with the people in your life who care about you, your parents, your guardians, to make sure that they know what's going on, that they know that they can give you some proper guidance in the case that you need it. There are people who may try and cause problems for you. Some people may cyberbully. Some people may try and get your information. So in all of that, please make sure that you keep those parents involved and keep them as people who you can confide in. It's just important. And they may give you really cool advice about actually starting your micronation, developing that. So you never know. But I would definitely recommend you keep them well informed about your internet practices. Reptile Keeper said, no, that would be growing too fast. It's 11 inches tall now. Still though, 11 inches, 5 weeks? That's crazy. Well, 6 inches to 11 inches. Still, that's 5 inches. 5 inches in 5 weeks. That's great. An inch a week. Congratulations. South North says, Kingdom of Annie. White Wind says, as in just the border of our micronations, not to Aeternia and the USA because of the license. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you can do that yourself. It's just, if you started doing that to a large degree, like if you started doing it online, that could become an issue. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, as long as you do so carefully and with the responsibility of an adult, like checking it out. Yeah. Yeah. Nova Lytra says, reptile bamboo grows that fast. Ooh, that's very cool. Connor Tilley said, Nexus in the house. It's good to see you, Connor. How is Nexus? What's going on? Also, I remember us talking about a sovereignty license and a foreign dignitary license and stuff. I am excited to hear from you and see what Nexus has been up to. As well, I'm trying to remember if Nexus has an alliance application with us. If so, I'd love to talk about it. I've been just slacking on a ton of alliance applications, so I want to make sure that I address everybody who has had one. The Reptile Keeper says it's not bamboo, it's a tree. I know, but it's crazy that grows at a similar rate to bamboo, or at least in its early, like adolescent life. That is pretty cool. But those are, some of the bigger tasks that we're undertaking right now. Again, one of those being that that development of, one of those things being that development of our power generation. Yes, we have been trying to do a little bit with that, and again, I'm excited to share all these different video ideas with you. I've had these set up and developed for a while and starting to work on them, but now these are things that are just starting to become possible for us to do in a bigger and badder scale. So I can't wait to show it off. We have a lot that's been developed in the background. That's why we call this kind of an internal update, is because there has been a lot for the Empire that's been going on just behind the scenes without being able to post about it at all, because it's hard for us to really talk about something without having any proof or feedback of it, and to really be able to thoroughly do that justice. So we didn't want to half-ass it. We didn't want to mess with things too much. So we wanted to just hold off, and that's what I've been doing. I'm excited to dump a whole bunch of content on you guys. This was going to be the summer of content, and it still is. It's just something where it's, trying to work up to those videos. Brandy said, Republic of South North says, Kingdom of Annie. Backwoods Dweller says, hi, am I late? You're not late at all. We still got about an hour left in this stream. Whitewind says, nope, sort of though. Backwoods says, I was first on the last 2 to 3 streams. Yeah, and I appreciate it. You've been helping keep our numbers up. And thank you very much, Backwoods. It means a lot. Reptile says, AP, how many years from now do you plan on purchasing Aeternia's land? So that's a great question. That's one of the things that I've been trying to calculate for myself as far as how quickly we grow and what abilities we're going to have at those different levels. So I don't want to like underestimate too hard, but I feel like anything that I say is going to be an underestimation at this point. So probably like 3 to 4 years. And I know that feels like, it feels like a weird number, because if we put everything toward it right away, that could be even sooner. That could happen in 2 years maybe. But if we end up having to spend any of our treasury whatsoever, any of the pot that we put toward in trying to purchase land, if we ever have to use that to get, say, a money transmitter's license, to invest in something that's going to grow Aeternia a lot, we want the option to do that, and we want to be able to make strategic decisions for the time that we have to be able to grow even faster. So as we prepare for purchasing that land, as that number continues to tick up from 7.7% up, we are going to be trying to figure out, hey, are we really ready for land? What are all the check marks that we have to make sure that when we get on the land, we are developing it, we have people there, we have the right size infrastructure, we have what we need to press forward. And so right now, there are a lot of mysteries still left to solve. There are a lot of things to be decided on for that. So that could get all the way out to like 5 years in really trying to set that up perfectly and just throw that money down and say, here we go. But it's a big question. How quick are we growing? How big is that base? If we get doubled like we did, we're trying to double right now in our subscriber count this year. If we end up doing that, that may mean significant increases. Once we can get our monetization on YouTube, which is why we've been trying to push so hard for that, that would mean a lot of increase to our regular funding, and that would drastically decrease the amount of time that it takes us to be able to earn that land. Every time you guys would watch a video or hang out on stream, we could have ads that roll and would allow for us to make money on that. So you could get, we could get quite a few dollars every year that would go straight toward that treasury as well, straight toward that land purchase funding, and that would be thanks to you all.
Live TV from 85 plus channels with local sports and news. YouTube TV. Try it free.
Deaf, trans,
Excuse me, guys.
queer, Jewish.
Hey. There we go. So, multiple things. Backwoods Dweller says, as soon as possible. What as soon as possible, Backwoods? Prakal says, gotta go bye. See ya, Prakal. Roland just jumped in with us. Hey, Roland, it's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a minute. I hope you're doing well. Well, I might have seen you last stream. There have been a few streams where I haven't seen you. I hope you're doing well, Roland. Reptile says, well, if my redwood's making seeds in the next couple of years, would you like a Greenistan redwood seed? That would be awesome. Yes, please. I have loved redwood trees, and I would love to grow some big redwood trees. Like the 1,000-year California redwood trees that are just huge. I would love to be able to grow that on Aeternia's land. So that would be really, really cool. Thank you very much. If you would send that actually to our P.O. box, that would be an awesome, intra-micronational trade thing. We could show it off. We'd be like, hey, we have Greenistan official redwood trees. That would be cool. Roland says, good evening. Hope you're well. Backwood says, is Reptile Greenistan? Yes, he is. Reptile says, yes, I am Greenistan. Backwood says, oh, hey, Isaac, Greenistan. Leanna says, I'll do a quick calculation on the purchase time. How long did it take to get the amount you have now? See, so that's a great question. We have been running, I guess the oldest thing to start the clock officially would be our Patreon. And we probably had our Patreon now. Let's look. Here's the thing that makes it confusing, right? So we've had our Patreon, not on earnings. We've had our Patreon. Regular Patreon. Still gonna be on earnings. Cool. Dashboard, just regular dashboard. Cool. So, cool, yep. it kept wanting to show our earnings. Jeez, flexing. So let me go to I wanted to go to our home. I'm trying to figure out if I can see, creator account. Maybe that's it. It may show how long we've been on Patreon. Oh, goodness. When did we? Goodness. I guess what we can do is watch this YouTube video and figure out when that was made. And from there, that will allow us to know approximately when our Patreon was made. So our Patreon was made, February 17th, 2019. So over 2 years ago. 2 years and 3 months ago. But, 3 and something months ago. But nearly 2.5 years ago. But here's the thing. That Patreon has generated us somewhere in the park of $200 total. Our Etsy, which has been around even less amount of time, has made a significant amount more. Our Etsy, I wish it would just tell you how long they've been around. It sure doesn't. I'd have to check back, but I think our Etsy has been around.
That's probably.
That's true. I would say our Etsy is goodness, I look like such a baby. Oh goodness, I look so young in that.
I thought you said hickey, but then I understood you meant hippie, and that's what you actually said.
I said, oh gosh, I look so young in that.
No, you said a little like hippie.
Oh, I look so young. What?
No, I heard it like hickey. So it's not like hickey, but I bet you were saying hickey.
Something. Maybe I look so silly. But yeah, so that's one of the bigger questions, right? That Etsy started maybe, oh gosh, what was the first thing that we put on Etsy? Whatever it was, our Etsy shop has been around less than 2 years, I think. Maybe a year and a half. Maybe.
Oh, the notes. The notes were the first one.
Yeah, the notes were the first thing that we put on, but I'm not really sure. I guess I could look up
Which one?
YouTube. Thank you. So, the Empire of Aeternia notes. Thank you. The best, it's like the best micronational currency or something is the name of the video. Empire of Aeternia currency. Let's see that one. Best micronation currency. 9 months ago. Grand opening on Etsy. 9 months. Okay. So, no, even less than a year ago. 9 months. In the last 9 months, our baby has been bloomed and has made like $500 something. Half a K. Half a stack. Thank you. Thank you.
She won't get it.
Nothing.
I figured not, but I thought I would ask.
We're making dinner. Sorry about this, guys. But yeah, so, and Tiffany was kind enough to bring me a burger. That's very sweet. Thank you, Tiffany. I wanted to say, yeah, so in the last 9 months, we've made
That's the most
over
I've ever
2
seen
times
put on
that.
that.
So it really is an interesting calculation to make. Will we stay increasing at that rate? You know, where we go from 2 years ago making a total sum of $200 on one thing to 9 months making $500 on another thing? Is there going to be another industry that takes us and shoots us up even quicker, or is it going to be something where we keep a slower progression over time, where we start to balance out more? I don't know. That's a hard thing to calculate and estimate. Reptile Keeper says, "Oh, cool. Hi, Isaac." White Wind says, "Hey, AP, who made you that flag? And could you ask them to make a flag for me, please and thank you?" So this was purchased for us and given as a gift by our very own Master of Treasure, Stephen Vince. This was an expensive thing. I'm blown away by Stephen purchasing that for us, but he did. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. Let me move some stuff out. Yeah, it's under my legs. Goodness, this is such an interesting situation. I'm like tangled in a whole web
Of cords.
of chargers. And so yeah, that's been a big thing for us. Is that growth from 2 years to 9 months has been big, and we want to make sure that continues. As far as our flag, it was purchased by Stephen, and it's something that we didn't want to invest in at the time because it would have taken out so much of our funding. So we were going to try and hand make a flag, and we are still trying to continue that. But if that's what at some point, but if that's what you are interested in doing and interested in having a flag of your own, you probably are best suited designing a very simple flag and then making it yourself. Reptile says it would be hard to get it there alive. The redwood tree? The redwood seed? Interesting. Backwood said freeze it. Freeze the seed and then ship it right away. Ooh, interesting. Sign on Fry Cry 5 Master says, okay, I'm on my main account and now, by the way, it was Tyson. Hey, Tyson, good to see you. Backwood says, I love how my nation is dead, but now it's just like the Wild West. Like, people still do stuff, there's just no government. Oh, interesting. Backwoods, how's that been working? Also, Backwoods, are you interested in becoming a citizen of the Empire of Aeternia? It's interesting to hear you say that, like, you ran your own micronation, that you're developing it, but now it's not something that can be reasonably or feasibly, like, held together by a government, but it still is like its own existing cultural entity. And I respect that. I think that's cool. I'm curious to see more about it. Backwoods Dweller said, you said, I look like such a baby. Thank you, Backwoods. He's got me. I said I look like a baby, not a hippie.
I don't know. From over there, I heard hickey.
I look
I
like
was
such
like,
a hickey.
hickey.
I look like such a hickey. Reptile says, AP, may I ask, what's your P.O. box? Yes, you actually can ask that, and I can give you a great away answer. If anybody wants to know where our P.O. box, if you want to send us anything, we've been looking for that mail. We check it every once in a while. We haven't gotten a ton of mail yet. I'm surprised. Our P.O. box is 56 Hughes Road, P.O. box 923, Madison, Alabama, 35758. It's right there on the screen. You can go to eternianempire.wixsite.com/Imperial Market, scroll all the way to the bottom of the page, and you will see our P.O. box. So you can go there and check that out. I would highly recommend you do. Because, yeah, we want to get cool stuff from our people. I can't wait to see what cool things we get from citizens. We got this from Steven using the P.O. box. I can't wait for all of the incredible things that we can put up in the background and have shown around. We have our P.O. box. It's been launched for a little over a month now, maybe 2, and I am thrilled with the result of that. Roland Brewer said, hey, Tiffany, saying hey to you. I told her while she was taking a bite, so forgive me. Backwood says, I have a question. What does your symbol on the flag mean, and how did you come up with it? Watch our video. We have a video. Oh, goodness. Let me go back to it. Okay, let me make sure. Oh, just straight up not a free for profit. Goodness. Sorry, Pink. We have a video called something like All About Us. That who we are. The Empire of Aeternia, who we are. Who we are, the Empire of Aeternia. Hit that up on YouTube. Boop, buddy, boop. Wait. Got a lot of the Empire of Aeternia stuff. Who we are. We're just going back further and further and further. Goodness, a lot of people haven't watched this video. Wow, okay. What is the... Also, thank you guys for 1.32 subs. This is incredible. We're about to hit 1.35. And then we're almost to 1.5. We're almost halfway to our goal for the year. Having to jump through all of our old videos. Give me just 1 second, guys. I'm trying to find it for you. Almost. Who we are. There we go. Symbolism, culture, and identity in the Empire of Aeternia. That is the name of the video. So if you look up Empire of Aeternia culture, Empire of Aeternia identity, any of that stuff, you will run into this video. So if you check that out, you can get into it, and it tells you all about it. It says 224 views right now, and that's what our setup looked like. So yeah. Let's see now. Ooh, we have 8 viewers. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Let's see. Okay, so, Leona says, I'm going to run the calculation. I'll be back with the answer. Thank you so much, Leona. That means a lot. That's how we, but essentially, I recommend you check out that video. It is the story of Odysseus, and has to do with the story of Odysseus, but I recommend you check that out. Kingdom of Salon Far Cry 5 Master says, by the way, I was wondering if you'd like to do an alliance. Thank you very much, Kingdom of Salon. I would say fill out our alliance application. We have one on our website. I've been behind on answering some of them, so bear in mind it may take me a minute to get to you, but we do have an alliance application, and it is on our website. If you go, the link to all this is in the description. EternianEmpire.wixsite.com/Imperial Market. You can go over to Alliances. It's the 3rd tab. Go to Allies of the Empire, Proposal Form. Click on that proposal form, fill it out, and we will be back with you as soon as we can. We answer all of them individually and talk through and kind of follow up with those alliance requests. So know that it does take some time for us to do that, but that we are actively trying to, and that we do engage with every micronation that sends us a form. So that being the case, please do apply, and as well, remember one of the biggest things we're looking for is content. So if you are willing to donate some content to our channel and just create submissions for us, that would be great, and we would love to have that on the channel, and we'd love to support your nation through that. So if you're interested in that, that would be one of the quickest ways to get an alliance with us, more than likely. Backwood says, I love how my nation is dead. Ooh, yep. Moving forward, Leona says, I'm going to run the calculation. Backwood says, my dad has been to Madison, Alabama. Oh, that's very cool. I hope he liked it. It's a pretty nice place. Reptile says, AP, do you want to hear a fun fact about redwoods? I would love to hear a fun fact about redwoods. Backwood says, wait, AP, did you hear about that anti-government militia in Texas that tried to start a micronation? I did not. I would love to talk about. Is that like news? Is that like micronational news? Can we hit that up? Oh gosh. Sorry guys. I try to get y'all out of the ad, having to hear the music, as quick as possible. So that'll be the first thing I try to adjust. I'm sorry I can't always get the image off, but a lot of times it's easier to just ride through the image before jumping back into the music. But yeah, I want to hear about this. Can you send, if you're on our Discord, Backwoods, please DM me in Discord and let me know that micronational news. What's happening? Sir Dom says hello. White One says, I'm going to get something to drink. I'll be right back. That sounds good, White One. Roland says, hello, Sir Dom. Hey, Roland. I know we're not Sir Dom, but hey, Roland. Kingdom of Far Cry, Kingdom of Salon says, what would you do if you actually got your own country, and what would you do with food and water? So we do have our own country. We're actively developing it and growing it. We have our own economy. We're just working on purchasing the land for that to be able to allow other people to come and live, because the space we have right now isn't accommodating for a country. So we have to actually continue to purchase that land, but we are acting as a nation right now. We are developing a nation, and we have, to all extents and purposes, a nation as of this moment. What would you do with food and water? So a lot of our economic design and the design of our nation is based around creation of specific products and specific goods that can earn us a lot of value within our nation that we can put into our treasury as US dollars and be able to spend externally from our nation to get the things that we need. So while we may not grow our own food right now, we are able to we will eventually be able to use the money that comes into our economy to purchase food and water and other necessities for our people, and to have that as a regular occurrence. As of right now, the limit there and the issue is that our economy is not jump-started enough to ensure that we have a really consistent thing going. We have fair bit of consistency now in our economy, but that is all going toward this land purchase, which is going to help us to even in an even greater way strengthen our ability to produce regularly. So once we get enough of an economy built up, once we get enough of a floor underneath us, then we can start to focus on actually purchasing food through that economic fund. But as of right now, we purchase food as adults just by working and living and doing what we do to get by. Backwood says, eat and drink it, LOL. Yeah, absolutely. You would use your money to purchase the food and water and eat and drink it. You could even potentially set up your own water filtration system, and that may be something we look into pretty quickly once we get land, but that's a farther off idea. Salon says, in which government would you be? My government is a dictatorship. So our government, we have a government. Gosh, very loud ad. I'm so sorry, everybody. I don't know how loud that was for y'all, but that was near-death experience for me. That was a lot. Goodness. Hey. Okay. Trying to jump back into it. There we go. So our government is an absolute monarchy. I am the emperor, and there is no one else who rivals me in the government. There's no checks on my power, and everything is built down below me as a development of my influence. So we have these houses which manage aspects of the empire, but it is designed in such a way that keeps me at the top as a singular monarch with absolute control. Reptile Keeper says, a redwood is one of only trees that can grow a new tree from a fallen branch or limb, which may allow me to cut off a small part of the OG Greenistan redwood to send to you. Oh, that would be very cool. Interesting. I feel like that would be harder to do than actually to collect their seeds, though. Can you send just redwood seeds? But that is cool. Backwood says, a militia in Texas started a micronation on a ranch, and it became a big thing. And the first shut it down about 3 months ago. I'm curious to hear about it. Were they doing weird stuff? I feel like a lot of time those groups get shut down because it's they started doing weird stuff, and then it's that being a militia already is a little bit of a provocation of it. That's why we're trying to go hard the opposite direction. But inherently, there isn't anything illegal about starting a militia. It's just starting a militia and becoming a micronation and doing all these things puts you in a very weird spot with the government of the macronation that you belong to, especially in the United States. So don't do it. Don't do that.
You don't realize how long it takes you to chew until you try to talk while you're eating.
Mm-hmm. But that's crazy. I do want to hear about that. Can you please send me like a Discord thing about it? Backwood says, what's the best thing I can do to help the economy? If you wanted to become a citizen, the best way to help the economy is to make content for us. If you can create content and send it to us, like you could talk straight up about that militia in Texas and like interview and like not interview them. You could do interviews if you want. That's one thing that we've been talking about. We want somebody to interview other micronations for us. That would be really cool. But as well, we want to be able to have just consistent submissions of content for us. If you can donate that content for us, allow us to monetize it, that helps us a ton. So that is the ultimate idea we're trying to go with, is to allow for people to become citizens. That you can either pay a citizenship tax, or you can, which is on our Patreon for $1 a month. We have I think 3 citizens doing that right now. But as well, you can help us by making content, and you can become a citizen that way as well. So if that's what you're interested in, if that's what you want to do, that's the best way to help our economy, because it helps us to push toward that 4,000 watch time hour a year mark. And once we get that 4,000 watch time hours, that spills over all of our content to allow us to make money from it. So that helps us a ton in the long term. And we're just trying to get over that hurdle right now. We're racing toward it. So that would be the biggest and best thing.
Welcome back, Whitewind.
Hey, welcome back, Whitewind. It's good to see you. Reptile Keeper said BRB. Whitewind said, Glorious Empire of Whitewind is at its peak of stability in the nation, and everyone is followed with monarchist, with the fascism losing popularity. I'm glad to hear that. Salon says there's a prison in Venezuela which actually is getting its own government, sort of. They have their own currency, their own government is really cool. You should take a look at it. I will. Again, you guys should send me these links. Like, at some point I want to make a Discord channel that is literally like micronational news. Like, send me like updates about crazy news that you hear, and we'll talk about it. Like a topics thing.
So the FBI shut them down.
Yep.
That's what the next one says.
Actually, what I would recommend, send in to we have a Discord channel already pretty much dedicated for that. I think it's suggestions. We have like a suggestions or maybe content one. Let me see. Concepts. We have updates, concepts. We have debates. We have memes. I would say post that in either updates or not in updates, I guess. Post that in concepts. If you can post those links in concepts, we will make videos about them. I want to talk about it. Backwood says I meant to say FBI at first, not first. Autocorrect. Yeah, the FBI shut them down. I got you. That's crazy. Again, I'd be curious as to what they were doing though. Reptile Keeper says yes, you can send seeds, but it takes 3 years to 20 years before they make seeds, and they need very specific conditions. That's all right. We'll be around for the next 20 years, so we'll be good. We'll be chilling. We'll wait on it. Let us know. Maybe one day if we're like near your area, you could like drop a piece of it off to us physically. But if not, you should just wait. We'll wait on it. We'll hang out. But that is cool. Leona says, okay, I did the calculation. Sorry to say, if it continues to grow at this rate financially, it would be 13 years before you raise the $10,000. But that's why I'm saying that doesn't take it all into account. It's not a 2 years, every 2 years, every 2 years, it's $700. So we went from $200 something to increasing by $500 in a 9-month difference. So that gives you a specific slope, a specific if you were to think about it as velocity, one specific rate of change. But then if you do the second derivative of that, and you actually try to plot a curve to the acceleration of that increase, the rate of change of the rate of change, you would actually be looking at something that would show the proportional increase of how much that would be per unit of time. So that may be missing in your calculation, which I think would shorten the time period down by a lot.
And what's not being included is my newest idea, which will come out before too much longer.
That is true. Tiffany has a banger.
It's gonna take over. Everyone's gonna love it.
Everyone is gonna love it. I'm hyped about it. Backwood says, what type of content is needed at the moment? A lot of the content I would think of is already being made by others. That's okay. Everybody has their unique spin on content. I would say if you could
Make a review of the stuff.
That's true. You can make a review of the products on our store. One of Gray, actually, of the House of Others, talked about doing that himself, but hasn't gotten around to it yet. So if you wanted to make a review of the products that we have, if you have purchased them already, you could show off, hey, these are the things that I've gotten, and this is how I think, what I think of them, and we could post that on the channel. Interviewing other micronations, a big deal. If you could get interviews with other micronations and hit them up, and make videos about each interview, and we could post that. That would help a lot. There's a ton of stuff as well. If you're on Discord, again, DM me. We can talk about it. Reptile says, AP, I have an idea to make money for you. First, try to find iron dust in your yard using magnets. Step 2, melt it into coins. Step 3, start bidding at $5. Step 4, watch Steven spend $10,000. Well, first off, I think...
I don't think Steven has $10,000.
I don't think Steven does have... He may, but I wouldn't want him to spend $10,000.
He wouldn't spend it on that, though.
Would not be a wise decision, but...
If he had that by now, he would have already helped you to buy land.
Mm-hmm. Excuse me, guys. Yep. There we go. So, that is... that was the biggest thing. We don't necessarily need one big $10,000 thing to get us there, and we also don't think we'll be, that's on the really high end of expectations. On the really low end, we shouldn't stay at this exact same rate. If we stayed at this exact same rate, then yeah, it would take us that. By that same logic, it'll take us, by some of our graphs, it'll take us a ton of years to reach 10,000 subs. But I don't think it will. The rate of our growth is increasing. The rate of our rate of change is increasing. So that's something that will hopefully provide bigger and bigger yields for us as we continue.
I think the reason
Backwood says, I think the reason the FBI showed up is they weren't playing cattle debts or something, and they weren't letting people on the land. Yeah, that could be an issue. And again, I think that gets really weird. I just wouldn't try and fight the law on anything. You just shouldn't. You should just do your own thing. Jaya says, Leanna, not if they start earning more. I think the whole point is to keep growing. Yes, absolutely. Leanna said, that was just a rough calculation. It doesn't include monetization from any social media platforms you may get in the future. Agreed. It also just, I think it's a directly linear calculation. It's one that says, if we keep growing by $500 something a month or whatever, every month, then that would be, or every year, then that would be how long it would take us. But I think we will prove otherwise. I think we will beat the odds.
Backwoods said, my sister has 10K in the bank.
That's really cool, Backwoods. Congratulations. We're trying to get it.
No, I don't care to shout. That wasn't my bank. I'm balling, but I'm not
Tiff
spending
has
it on
$10 million. The Kingdom of
If I
Saban
had
says
$10 million, we wouldn't be in this
That's
place.
fair.
And
Actually
already buy
accurate.
land.
Actually accurate. Kingdom of Salon says, what would you do if there was a Great Depression in your country? We would continue to attempt to stabilize ourselves, support our working class, and invest in
And your
more
currency's
profitable
not
industries.
based off of like the U.S.'s, so technically you probably wouldn't. Like the empire probably wouldn't fall into a depression as well.
Yeah, it would be harder for us to fall into a depression. I will say that's something that we can talk more about in the future. But yeah, Tiffany's right. We do have support from the U.S. dollar as far as we can exchange. Not as of yet. When we continue to develop and once we're able to get a money transmitter's license, we would be able to have an exchange with the U.S. dollar. So that would help to stabilize us. But then, even greater than that, we can also cut ourselves off from that and just have an internal supply now that we are growing and gaining more and more industry. So it should be harder for us to. It's not impossible, but we would try our best to remedy the problem, specifically by supporting those who would need to be supported, our working class, the people who would be most adversely affected by it, and then you would try to support industries that could help to further stabilize that as quickly as possible. If your country's going into a depression, it probably means that something hit the fan that was already building. So it may mean a lack of productive industries. It may be an overconsumption rate by your nation. It may be a far underconsumption rate. So there are just a lot of factors that affect that can make an economy grind to a halt. But we're trying to design in mind and with experience to limit that in as many categories as possible. Backwood says, and that 10K in my sister's bank is a lot because one, we poor family in Mississippi kind of stuck in a mini Great Depression. What's happening in Mississippi? Reptile Keeper says, oh, I have another idea. What if I send you seeds, you grow the seeds and sell them for a low price and make infinite money? That sounds really cool. Yeah, we would love to do that at some point. Absolutely. Kingdom of Salon says, why do you want to be leader? Is it for power or a new form of government? Or why did you start your government? That's a great question. I would say, if you look back in some of our previous videos, we have more videos talking about our founding. The same video that I recommended earlier about our symbol and sort of who we are talks a little bit about that. I've also talked about that on a number of streams, but we are the Empire of Aeternia because we are actively trying to make a difference in people's lives economically. So I come from a fairly humble background. My family's never been very wealthy. My family has had financial struggles that their citizenship in the United States hasn't been able to support and fully care for. So there are a lot of people that I've seen throughout my life who have felt very, very affected by the lack of assistance and the lack of development that has been had in the United States. And so and in many countries around the world. So what we're trying to do, as all micronations are, is to create a new form of living, to create a better society and a better culture for ourselves. But in doing so, we specifically want to affect those who have been disaffected, who have been negatively affected by the impoverishment and the internal struggles that are being faced by many, many countries all around the world. We're trying to make sure that as we grow and as we build, people are supported, people are given opportunity, people are independently invested in as citizens, and that as such, citizenship has a cost. There is a bottom line value to adhered to citizenship, such that citizenship is a commodity, it is something that is specialized, it is something that is always very valuable and has a direct, tangible connection to value. And in that, we are trying to create resources which can support that population that we're developing, those valuable citizens, those people with skills, those people with all of the trimmings, all of the necessary components to make a great country and to make a profitable one, but have been in one way or another limited and stunted in their growth by some effect of the system that they live in. So we're trying to shake that up. We're trying to free those binding points. We're trying to give people a different way to tackle their own hurdles and burdens in that respect, to have a new life, a new chance.
Wait, alright. So Backwards says pro tips to make a nation print lots of money and pay everyone a lot. It's a good idea.
Not a good
It's really kind of not, because the more money that you print and the more that you just give out to your people, like every time we raise our minimum wage, the more everything else then also raises with it. So you start causing well, for the most part, you can't if you just threw out money to everyone, you start inflation. They just start increasing the price of everything because now everyone can very easily get a hold of everything. It's just the way the economy kind of works.
Makes sense.
But AP can explain more.
Yeah. No, but Tiffany's right about that. Inflation is a big thing. I think you were memeing there Backwards. I think you were joking. But there are people.
It sounds nice.
Yeah.
It just doesn't ever work out that way.
Right. But there are people who may not understand that. And so for them, yeah, absolutely. Don't print a whole bunch of money. It's not a good idea. Print money that you can back with something or that you know for sure you have value in.
Well, right. I guess that's the other way to explain it. If you start just giving out a lot of money, your money loses quite a bit of value because now it's easy to get a hold of, which then causes inflation because now things cost more because your dollar doesn't cost as much anymore.
It's not just that there's a whole bunch of stuff to discuss.
There's a lot to it, but that's the basics.
Yeah. Yep.
That's the basics of it.
Yeah. Continuation of this discussion on future versions of the micronational economic series that we've been developing. Real quick, Glorious Empire of Whitewind said they're going to go to bed. Good night, Whitewind. It's good to see you. Salon says, have you ever thought of spreading your YouTube channel if you use different sites list, a TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, everything? If you use everything, your channel may grow faster. Agreed. So one of the difficulties is we have Instagram and Twitter, and you should actually follow our Instagram and Twitter. We do post as regularly as we can on there, but we need to get better at it. We were just talking about that earlier in this stream. TikTok, we haven't really jumped hard on TikTok because we want to make sure that we get Instagram and Twitter down steady before we jump on those, but it's not out of the picture. As we continue to grow in multiple different ways, we're going to be growing into new avenues for our social media. We just want to make sure we can lock down the social media that we have and produce well for that before we continue. Backwood says, Mississippi economy has been wrecked since the Civil War and gotten even worse in the 30s. Oh, goodness. Leona says, when Tiffany starts doing art to sell, let me know. I'll be buying a lot of it. Fantastic. I appreciate it, and I'm sure Tiffany appreciates it. Leona says, I invest in two things. One, Aeternia, two, silver, and in that order. That's respectable. First off, I appreciate it. Secondly, I understand wanting to put your money into something that has a hard backing like silver. Silver is an interesting commodity and is something to talk about further. But yeah, it means a lot. It means a lot that you support us, and it means a lot that we can now have a true contributed value to, like silver. We have industry, we have economy, we have something that you can peg us to, even if it's not a ton yet. But it's growing. Backwood says, I was joking about inflation, Tiffany. Reptile Keeper says, I think you missed my comment. Ooh, what comment? Oh, I have another idea. What if I send you... Was it that one? Or was it the iron dust thing? About the iron dust, yeah, I think Steven wouldn't buy $10,000 worth of iron coins. Also, there's difficulty in printing and making your own coins for sale. That's a whole other thing. But yeah. It would be a possible thing. And that's part of the reason we are trying to get up our forge works and to get bigger and better at making different metals. Backwood says, I was joking about inflation. Reptile says, AP, I think you missed my comment. Salon says, how are you going to be recognized as your own country? How are you going to stand out from the others?
Doing it right now.
Mm-hmm.
Reptile Keeper, if you're talking about the one where you said that you can send him seeds and then he can start selling them for like a low price and make infinite money, I think he read that one earlier.
Thank you, Tiffany. I did, and I would be excited about that. I would love to get the redwood seeds. I'd love to plant them and see how big they can get. Sorry, Reptile. I would love to do that. Again, if you can send seeds to our PO box, that would be great.
Now we're going to talk about how you're being recognized.
Oh, very true. How are you going to be recognized as your own country? How are you going to stand out from the others? We're attempting it right now. So, as we continue to grow and as we continue to make progress, we're developing our economy. We're developing our influence on the world and on the micronational community. Right now, our micronation has like 200-something people in its Discord. We have, 13.2 thousand subs. We have a whole bunch of benefits internally to our citizenship. We're passing out active citizenship licenses. We have had people purchase our citizenship license, Leona being one of them. All of those things are, Stephen being another. All of those things are pieces of Aeternia, which are spreading farther and wider. We have culture that is permeating into the world and shaking it up. And now, as you see, that's getting us more and more value. So we are a nation right now. We are standing out amongst the rest because people know our name. Because you're here is enough that we have made enough of an impact. It is just the start, but it's a pretty good one at that. And so that's what we're trying to do right now, is we're trying to continue that progress, continue that push, continue that march toward land, and ultimately make it shown that we are doing that. We say we are already doing that. We are trying to prove that we are already having what it takes to be recognized as such and are making moves toward the permanent recognition of that and in increasing our resources until that permanent recognition is inevitable. So that's the attempt. And that's how we're going to do it. Reptile says the seed one. Salon says, what would you do if your country was in debt? Not get in debt in the first place, but also that's kind of a tricky topic because it depends on what you mean by debt. If you mean our industries, our businesses being in debt, that's bad, and we would try to take care of that as quickly as possible. If you're talking about like a national debt, as in nations and their trade and owing each other and IOUs and stuff like that, and in the different bonds that different countries have, that's kind of a different matter because there is some debt that is good and important for a country to have. The United States has a ton of debt, but we also have a ton of debt specifically because of how wealthy we are, because we are able to develop so much credit, which boosts the entire world economy a lot and is able to make others produce a lot, and in which we can benefit from those resources and pay that back. So it's something which continues to grow and that debt continues to expand, which is a bad thing. But the United States still does grow and advance with it. And since it is the biggest, one of the biggest creditors and one of the biggest debtors in the world, it's hard for people to really collect on that or to have a reason to. The U.S. having debt is a good thing. For us, having debt wouldn't be a good thing, and that's why we're not in debt. But as we would continue to grow, that may become something that is afforded to us to have some credit with other nations. And in that case, that debt wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing. It's like a big credit card bill. You know what I mean? If you have $1 million credit card bill, but you make $1 million every week, having $1 million credit card bill isn't that big a deal. The U.S.'s credit card bill is much bigger than that, and it has trouble paying it off. But there's also and that's, again, kind of its own tricky situation. There's more to that. But just to say that we don't have a credit card yet. We're not trying to charge to our card yet. We're not trying to have debt yet. But if we did, I would hope that it would be because we are specifically investing in things to make us bigger and better quicker. Reptile says, oh, okay, I must have missed it. AP, I suggest you buy land that has a creek on it to where you can dam it up and make a hydroelectric power, and 2 raised fish in the lake behind the dam for food. That all sounds like great ideas, and I think we would love to do something very similar to that. It all depends on what's available to us and how we can go about it. Salon says, Salon Far Cry 5 Master says, the key to currency I personally think is making your own money valuable, making only your money valuable in your country. Not necessarily, right? Because inside the US, many countries are valuable. There are exchange businesses that do exactly that. It allows for other nations to have their citizens, the people who have invested in their currency, come to your nation and then exchange that for your currency. So your currency being the only valuable currency isn't necessarily the best way to make the most value. But it is an interesting thought. The Kingdom of Far Cry 5, the Kingdom of Salon says, I put other people's money down. Interesting. So let me bring this up. What if, you had the ability to get a lot of US currency, right? If you had the ability to somehow obtain a lot of legal tender US currency, a lot of it, right? Would you not want that? Of course you would, because it's a world recognized means of it creating a large amount of value. So if you have a lot of US currency, you can do a lot with that. You can spend it just about anywhere, and it'll work. If you put other people's currency down, if you put like the United States currency down in your nation, that doesn't make your nation's money increase in value. That just makes you not able to access the value locked within the money that that is coming into your country. You should be happy to exchange for those different currencies, because it's a way to transfer that value and move that value into your nation and then back out of it as it continues to circulate. Your money needs to work for you. And if you don't have any inflow or outflow and your money is just still, it can't work for you. Prakal says, back. Hi. Hello, Prakal. It's good to see you. Leona says, there's a military base near Fort Smith, Arkansas that has been closed down. You might be able to buy it sometime in the future. That sounds really cool. That would, I imagine, be an incredible amount of money to spend, but also, if we could buy it in the future, that would be great. Reptile Keeper says, well, in the time my redwood is growing, would you like another tree from Greenistan, like a cedar tree? I would say I would love to see something that is unique to Greenistan, something that we could keep here. Ooh, actually, potentially, sure. If you can send us seeds from something that would be small and easy to send to our P.O. box, please do. And we can show its progress on the channel. Kingdom of Salon says, then I'll exchange the American money with my money. Yeah, but then that's not putting it down, that's exchanging it. But by exchanging it, you declare its value because you back your currency with its value. Backwoods Dweller says, I get a lot of money, but it's all blood money, and I don't want to give that to you, AP. I understand. I appreciate it. I tell you what, you get some soap, you get some water, you scrub-a-dub it, then it's clean. Then it's all better. It's all good. No, don't do that. I appreciate it. Yeah. Backwoods says, JK, or am I? I believe in you, Backwoods. I think you're a good, kind soul, a good spirit. And also thank you for supporting us. It means a lot. Even if you just watch these videos, that helps us to get this watch time. That helps us to move forward with all the goals that we're trying to achieve right now. And that's because of you. Real quick, gonna jump out of this weirdly sad sounding free for profit. Go into this one. Backwoods says, Leona says, AP drinking that Coca-Cola, but I didn't choke on it. I survived. It's good. Reptile says LMAO, Coca-Cola. And then put a cat in a box. That's really cute, Reptile. I appreciate it. It's a cat in a box. I have seen multiple people make that. I have no idea how to make it. I wanna start making that little thing. Is it on Discord? I want to use it. Prakal says, how do you stop your money from water? How do you stop your money from water? Reptile says, okay, can I send oak tree seeds? I can send oak tree seeds. Is that okay? Sure. I would love that. Yeah. Prakal says, save your money. If you could like write what they are though, like if they're oak wood seeds, like label them oak wood seeds or whatever, and send them over. Prakal says, save your money from water. Oh, you could laminate it. That's the whole thing. Kingdom of Salon says, what would you do if there was an airborne virus? Protect our citizens, have a potentially like a lockdown, certain procedures. We've seen this through the pandemic, through the COVID-19 pandemic. We lived through that. Our nation had a pandemic. You try to limit exposure. You try to encourage and implore everybody to protect themselves and to get vaccinated if there is a vaccine available. That's what we did. We rode through this virus. We continued to grow as this virus maintained in our nation. It's here. The reason that so many of our citizens now are protected is because we have encouraged vaccination. And so there is still a pandemic ongoing. There are still people who are affected by this, especially in other countries. But Aeternia, fortunately, has rode out the wave of most of its infections. So we are doing good in an airborne virus issue.
Now, as your population keeps increasing, I'm sure it will hurt you a bit more, but...
Absolutely. Tiffany said with increased population comes even more likelihood for people to get sick and for that virus to expand, and 100%. That's a huge issue. But as we continue, we will be upping our procedures for protecting each other even more and make sure that everybody is individually cared for. Reptile says, if there's an airborne virus, I would go to my fallout shelter. Did you during the COVID-19 pandemic? Because that's cool if you did. Tell me about that. Backwoods says, I'm going to buy Aeternian notes to launder my bank robbery money into good money. Oh, goodness. Backwoods. Somebody would figure it out. It'd still be a purchase on our end, so I don't think we would lose money from that. But, oh, man, that's crazy. You already told us, so now we're sketchy of you. If you buy $10 million worth of notes right now, we'll be sketched. You'll also blow up our economy. It'd be interesting. I think it'd be funny to see, but yeah, I wouldn't.
I don't know, because the way that economies always work, if you start increasing heavy, there's always a heavy decrease to follow.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. Well, it wouldn't be sustainable for sure. It'd just be one jump of $10 million. But I would still like it. Like, I think it'd be crazy. Just don't commit robberies and put it into Aeternian funds. Just start a successful business and then do that. And then we would love to have you as a part of our nation. Prakal says, but if I laminate it, I can bend it. It would be like a card. Yes. Yep.
And just buy a card. Put your money in the bank and get a card.
Yep, that's true. Tiffany said you could put your money in the bank and get a card. And that's probably the best way to protect your money, because even if the card gets destroyed, it doesn't hurt your money at all. You can put the card in the water and the card will still be fine, but even if you mess it up or if you lose the card, your money's still good. Digital currencies, way of the future. Digital transactions, way of the future. Leanna says, I buy Aeternian notes to turn the worthless U.S. currency into a currency that means something. Got him. Hey, I appreciate you, Leanna. That means a lot. And we hope that we can back that. Leanna has been one of our most fervent supporters. She is our first aristocrat. She is the person who has the most money in the entire Aeternian economy. She has been helping us to push toward that $10,000 goal. And having her say something like that, having her support to show for our currency, makes us want to have a valuable currency, not just for the sake of, oh, we have this large economy, so that it helps, so that Leanna can take this currency that she has and eventually use it for things that she needs in her everyday life. To be able to have our citizens thrive and benefit from the system that they've invested in is the entire point. You asked earlier, somebody asked earlier, what it is that we're doing, why we're doing it. That is why. Because we want somebody who has invested in us and believed in us to be able to grow from that. We want to pay our investors tens of times over, hundreds of times over their lifetimes for right now. Because we want to build a great empire. We are starting on the steps of this great empire and marching up it. So there's only greatness to come. And it's thanks to you all that is happening. We want to pay people back, and we want to do so with interest. Reptile says, AP, could I be sending the oak tree seeds by next week? Does that sound good? That sounds fantastic. I would love to do a stream where I specifically go, we got the seeds! We got the seed! We're opening the seeds! We're planting the seeds! Can you do a bonsai oak tree? We might end up doing that. That'd be really cool. I would love to try it out. Reptile says, AP, I could be sending the seeds? Yes, please. Percall says, I can't bend it, is what I mean. How can I make a card for my money? And if I laminate, I can't bend it, and it will be like a card, so it can't bend. I don't know how to help you. I don't,
What's the issue?
I'm trying to fully understand as well. So, let me jump around.
No, reread that one.
There we go. So, the thing that Kingdom of Percall asks is, they said, I can't bend it, is what I mean. How can I make a card for my money? I guess asking about when you were saying digital, to have like a credit card.
You just put it in the bank will give you a card so that you can spend from it.
I
Unless
think-
you put it in a savings
I
account.
think
the savings
Percall is specifically asking about their micronational currency.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then saying, if I laminate, I can't bend it, and it will be like a card, so I can't bend it. You can bend
Is it
laminated
long?
things pretty well. If you're trying to fold it in half and do something like that, then I wouldn't recommend laminating it. But you can make it out of materials that are water resistant or waterproof. You can make it out of nylon, for
Or
example.
if you really just want to make sure it's waterproof, there's the like spray stuff that makes anything waterproof, like clothes and other things. It's just like a chemical. Like lily pads have a thing that makes them waterproof, and the water will just roll over it.
That's
They have
true.
made a spray based off the lily pads.
You
that
could
then
get
protects
a
you from water.
water
Resistant
hydrophobic spray. It's
Yeah.
called a hydrophobic spray. You can buy a hydrophobic spray. Leanna said, after I reach the century mark, I'll be buying 10 notes twice a month. Hey, thank you very much. That means a lot, Leanna. Also, we want to try and get that ability for you to use those notes so that you don't feel like you're just
Now
piling up
Look
notes.
at that. That's another thing Leon didn't count for then. That she's going to give us $20 a month.
Yep.
For every month. That just increased your stuff by $20 for every month.
Mm-hmm. That's also a great point. Did you factor just your own contributions into our empire and into your calculation, Leanna? Reptile says you can make a bonsai out of anything. That's very cool. And I want to make a bonsai out of it. Yeah, so he wants to send us oak wood.
Oh, bonsai tree, they're
Yeah.
so cute.
So he's going to send us oak seeds next week. And so then we can plant them and make a little bonsai tree if you want.
Try.
We're going to try. So yeah, that sounds great. Percall says, what I mean is if I laminate, I can't bend the money I make. Makes sense. Reptile Keeper says, okay, I will probably keep it until it grows a root, then plant it in a biodegradable pot and send it to you for you to plant in a bigger pot. Does that sound good? Can you just send us the seeds? Like, we have a pretty small P.O. box. If you can send us the seeds, then we can take the seeds and we can plant them ourselves, and we'll do that ourselves. Just send us the seeds, just by themselves, just the little seeds, the little tiny seed, just give us those. That'd be ideal. Percall says, okay. Salon says, when you get your own country, how are you going to defend it? Again, we have our own country, and one of the benefits of myself and the people who are going to be coming to Aeternia being U.S. citizens is that the land that we're on as of right now and the land that we purchase in the future will be protected by the local governments that are surrounding it. So, for example, the United States federal government would protect it to some degree from foreign invaders, stuff like that. Going down the line, though, you would also have local and state governments which are doing that. You may ask, well, why does the Empire of Aeternia pay taxes and all this stuff? Why are we being registered with the United States and all this stuff? Those are very valuable protections that the United States offers, especially because we are able to grow and thrive here as our own nation and even wanting to do our own things. So as long as we remain within the law of the United States and as long as we abide by that, we can say we're doing something different. We're attempting to leave. We're going to eventually flagship one out of here. But as long as we're not breaking the rules until then, that's perfectly fine. And we will be protected and guarded just like any other money-making enterprise in the United States is following those same rules. So yeah, we're going to be well protected and encouraged, I think, in the United States. And we'll probably always still have some land that stays there because it's valuable, because we can continue to grow our industries on U.S. soil and be protected by U.S. law in certain regards, while also developing our culture and our population and our economy elsewhere. So hopefully the Empire of Aeternia will be a worldwide phenomenon with land in lots of different places doing lots of different things for us. Salon says, if you had your independence. Makes sense. We would be defended, again, in the places that are internal to the United States, inside the United States. We would also probably use as many non-lethal defenses as we could to try and protect and guard ourselves and even prevent ourselves from being attacked or bothered, be it the case that we would go out completely on our own and be 100% independent. But hopefully that would be with regard to protections as well from other nations. We would like to have valuable trading alliances with other nations, being that we would be at a certain point completely independent. Pergal says, how do you make online money or a card? That's a great question. I don't know that yet. I'm still in the process of learning that and developing that myself. Coding, if you want to make like a cryptocurrency, is the short answer. If you're wanting to make a debit card or something like that, you'd have to create a bank, which is a whole mess of stuff and expensive. Reptile Keeper says, what is the size of your P.O. box? The size of our P.O. box is about that big. About that big, about that long.
Because they can totally tell the difference between this big of a thing and that big of a thing on screen.
Yep, it's small. It's not very big at all.
What they tell us is 2 folded up magazines. That is it.
Yes.
So like maybe 15 letters. No more.
Yep, not very big. That's why I'm asking you to please send us the seeds, because if you can put the seeds in an envelope, then we can easily get the seeds in our P.O. box, even if other people have mail that's being sent in. But if you try and send us a root or something crazy, they may just not hold it for us. They may just be like, this is some weird biomaterial stuff.
They will hold it for 3 days, I think. But they get very unhappy if you send multiple things like that. Then they will be very unhappy with him for purchasing the P.O. box that is way too small for apparently receiving so many big packages.
Right. So we need to be able to work within those parameters. So please just send us the seeds. That would be ideal. Leanna says, with the note purchases mentioned, the purchase time decreases by roughly 9 months. Yeah, that means a lot. Yeah, a 9-month decrease just from your efforts alone, Leanna. That's incredible. Think about the other people that are joining, the other people that are growing, all the other people on the aristocrat board. Even if they just every once in a while do something, that's a lot. That's a lot of money. And I appreciate that. I think our estimation will go down well below the 10-year mark. Certainly, hopefully, below the 5-year mark. But the 5-year mark, I think, is an interesting estimate. It could be a fair estimate in the longer ones. Percal says a card is in a credit card. Cute cat, and then does the cat in the box, and then does just like a cat face. Interesting, Prakal. Reptile Keeper says the pot is 2 inches tall by 1.5 inches wide. Is that too big? Um,
1 second. I will tell you in a second.
We're trying to figure it out. We're trying to figure out what the size of our PO box is. That could potentially be fine. Yeah, we'd have to see. Lana says if you're going to invest in cryptocurrency, Tether is still close to a 1-to-1 ratio. Bitcoin is outrageous. 1 USD to like 0.00003 in Bitcoin. Yeah, it is. Bitcoins are have an incredible amount of value right now. Kingdom of Salon says, are you going to try and get land on an island, or are you trying to get land in Alabama? More than likely to start out with land in Alabama. We may get land in a state surrounding Alabama, but that is a pretty good estimate, saying Alabama. And the simple reason for that is because that's close. It allows me to still keep myself and Tiffany to still be able to keep perfectly civilian jobs if we need to, while also continuing to work and develop Aeternia. And it also allows us to be in a place that's fairly familiar to us and where we already have resources and roots planted, so that if we need help and if we want to have people continue to grow Aeternia in that territory as well as outside of it, we can do that, and we have a lot more support. If we go to another state or potentially another country and try to set something up, we would be only able to access the resources that we could in the United States, which would be a lot more expensive to do so from further away, or even in Alabama from another state. Or we would just be to our own devices at the point in which we start to set up. So there's a high likelihood that if we were to just set up somewhere very far away from us with very limited contact to what we've already established for ourselves, it would be hard for us to get going in the way that we would like to. We're not going to really purchase land until we have, that's why we have that $10,000 mark, is because that's around the price that we need to put down for land, but as well because by that time we should have a pretty steady economy that we can make payments to develop the land as well as other resources we need. So we're going to be continuing to develop that, but these are the critical moments in that. These are the questions of, well, you know, is it better for us to buy some land here or the most amount of land we possibly can in the cheapest place that it is, depending on how much money we have available to us.
You got your answer.
Tiffany has our answer.
So the PO box is 3 inches by 5.5 inches. So yes, that pot would fit.
3 inches by 5.5 inches, so yes, the thing would fit. That's great. Thank you, Tim. So yes, you could send it to us in a biodegradable pot once it grows a root, and we could take it. I didn't know if we could. You'd have to figure out if there are any specific weird regulations or anything behind sending biomatter. I know they ask us a lot of the time, is there anything that's like a food or like a perfume or like a chemical, any nuclear material, any weapons, anything like that, that is going to be sent when you go to the post office to send it. So keep that in mind, that you may have some specific hurdles to jump through when trying to send biomaterial. Hopefully not. Hopefully it would be as easy as just walking in with a box and sending it out. But you never know. As well, keeping it alive for the trip and looking into that may be important as well. So yeah, these are all great questions.
We need to put it in like, I feel like doing something like the greenhouse bags. You put it inside a greenhouse bag or whatever. May help it to do it, but I don't know.
I would agree with that. Tiffany said a greenhouse bag may work, and that would be a good idea. Hmm.
I don't know how you get a hold of those.
Real quick. Salon says, are you trying to get, oh, congratulations on YouTube. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. We're trying to grow our YouTube as quick as possible. Prakal says, I now have a website. Well, it's a work in progress. Good for you, though. I believe in you, and I'm excited to see your growth and development. Leona says, if Alabama seceded from the Union, its anthem should be changed to Sweet Home Alabama. I think it could be changed to Sweet Home Alabama even without it leaving the Union. It could come up with its own internal anthem that could be Sweet Home Alabama. And I think it'd be hilarious. Salon says, did you ever think of investing in another person's country or in another business? Yes. So we've looked into potentially investing in stocks before, and that's something that we may again look into in the future. It's just, trying to figure out what's appropriate for us at this size and what's the best way to get the quickest returns on our investment. But yes, that is definitely a potential. Backwood says, hey AP, in the future, will there be marriage license or just general marriage laws / getting legally married in Aeternia? Sure. I'm sure it would also involve some sort of marriage license through the United States for a long time. But yes, we would have our own, marriage licenses and stuff like that we would set up at some point. Excuse me. That would be something to think about once we have residential citizens, though. So we're going to develop our residency program as we get closer and closer to our land purchase. And then from our residency program should sprout things like marriage laws, licensing programs for marriage, stuff like that. Tiffany's trying to pick the song. No, it's a sad guitar track type beat. It's so sad. The other one was actually nice if you go back.
No.
Tiff said no.
No.
Also, yeah, they have to be free for profit too.
That's why I muted it while I'm looking.
Yeah. Okay, try that one.
And this one?
Try it. This is not too bad. Okay. Okay, so we're jumping back into these comments, everybody. Reptile says, okay, I have an idea. What if I grow it to the root stage and put it in the envelope with directions on how to plant it? Yes, please. I would love that. And I'd be excited to open your package and read it and show everybody on stream. Backwood says, because I don't want to get legally married by the United States standards, fair enough. Yeah, we would more than likely have marriage licenses and standards for that as well. Lana says, this is going to sound funny, but have you ever heard of TIFs? TIFs? I haven't. I've heard of this TIF, TIFF. But that's about it. That's about it. What is TIF? S. Capital TIF, lowercase s, question mark. You got to hit me up, Leona. Also, I'm excited to hear about the progress you've been doing on looking up some stuff. I know you said you were doing some research for about certain laws for the Empire and about how we're going to continue to develop. And I'm excited to hear what you've come up with. But also, it is, we've been streaming for about 2 hours, 23 minutes now. We're probably going to go once we hit 2 hours and 30 minutes. But this has been an incredible stream for us. We have 9 viewers as of right now, and we're able to talk about and declare to you all that we're pushing the bounds for the Empire of Aeternia. We are moving forward toward what's going to be the next big step in its progress, that next big exponential jump in how quickly we are growing. And those things are coming from technological advancements. They're coming from advancements in different things like this YouTube channel and our monetization, with different social media, and with different economic opportunities like the great ones that Tiffany came up with, and with some of our other continuing investments out there. So there's a lot to be done, but there's a lot to be done thanks to you all. Saul Ornelas, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Saul says, greetings from the United Confederation of Solicita. Cilicia. Greetings, Saul. I'm glad to see you here. Tell us a little bit about your nation. Ooh, also we have 10 viewers now. Jump it up. Reptile Keeper said BRB. Okay, see you soon, Reptile. Also, Saul, tell us a little bit about your nation and what got you started with micronationalism. Are you a new micronationalist? Have you been around a while? What's got you interested in the Empire of Aeternia? Also, if you like our content and you want to support our channel, subscribing helps a lot. We're actively trying to get to 4,000 watch time hours a year, which is a lot harder than it sounds. It means we have to make more and more watch time hours every day because we lose the previous day's watch time hours. So we have to have 4,000 watch time hours per year for the 365-day period we're in, for the past 365 days. So yeah, if you can subscribe, if you can hang out with us, it helps a lot. Reptile said BRB. Leanna said TIFs are a stock you can buy in some companies without using a stockbroker. You can buy them directly from the company. Ooh, interesting. That's pretty cool. I would love to check that out actually and see what that could mean for potentially the Empire of Aeternia and how people could invest in us. It'd be cool to look into. Hey, also, we just got a subscriber. I still have my things messed up, but I heard him. Let me see if I can find where the widget is. I guess it doesn't matter now because it... but we had it though. Dang. Okay. Well, I know somebody just subscribed. Thank you so much for subscribing. I did miss whoever's thing it was. We generally have a subscriber thing that jumps up and is like, hey, thank you for subscribing. But as of right now, I cannot find the actual thing that I need for it. So forgive me, everybody, for that, but thank you so much for subscribing and hanging out with us. Leanna says, AP forever, love to AP and Tiffany. Love you too, Leanna. I appreciate it.
You said AP forever, and it says Eternia forever.
Eternia forever, love to AP and Tiffany, right?
Yeah, but you said AP forever,
AP
love
forever.
to AP and
AP,
Tiffany.
specifically AP forever. Nobody else. Thank you so much, Leanna. Eternia forever, 100%. I guess I read Eternia and then looked at AP. I was trying to read the next thing. I appreciate it. Love you, Leanna. Thank you so much for helping us. Thank you for helping us grow.
So Backwoods asks, how much is citizen tax? The Patreon, I think the lowest one is $1, but you can increase.
Yep. So we have, you can look at our different tiers on Patreon. We have $1 a month is our most basic citizenship tax. Then from there we have our Patriot, which gives you extra perks and stuff like that. And then we have all the way up to Imperial Bonds, which actually gets you some notes every single month. So that's something that we've had one person investing in as of right now, the Master of the House of Treasure, Stephen Vince, and we've been doing well. So it's for citizenship specifically, $1 a month on Patreon, but if you would like to, you can also meet those citizenship requirements by checking out our content and by actually creating content for us and submitting that to us. So if you would like to submit content, you can talk to me more about it on Discord or through email, eternianempire@gmail.com. You can also find the link to our Patreon down in the description if you want to do it that way. If you subscribe to our Patreon and you have applied for citizenship, you get the citizenship. It's just like, hey, you did it, sort of thing. If we found somebody particularly objectionable or whatever, we may deny their citizenship, or if they had if they were spamming or causing problems for people or something. But the Patreon is great because it immediately gets you the Discord citizenship role. It's automatic once you subscribe to the citizenship tier, and then we go through and just check your application, approve it, make sure it's good. If you are trying to make content for us, that's where we really have to do more of a back and forth and talk to you and see what your interests are and how you want to go about that. Leanna said it's past AP's bedtime. You already know, Leanna. I'm a sleepy boy. It's an issue.
You skipped a bunch.
I did.
Right here.
Reptile says, I'm going to go find oak tree seeds right now at 12 a.m. Oh, goodness. Be careful. Kingdom of Procol says, what's your internet speed?
Not sure.
Not sure, but it's not too bad. Are we laggy? Is there an issue? Saul says, I've been planning on making a micronation for a while now and have started to organize ministries. We are a nation based in a plot of land, and I have in the desert. Oh, that's very cool, Saul. Are you excited about it? Tell us about it. Leona says, it's past AP's bedtime. You already know. Kingdom of Salon says, what you ever look into making your own vessel, vessels are you own another person's country technically and yours. Vassals, you're talking about vassal states. Not particularly, because a lot of time in micronationalism, vassals or countries who would more or less be subservient to your country is just weird because there's not a whole way to really regulate and control that. At any point, anybody can be like, yeah, we're like allied with your mind. Ooh, somebody else just subscribed. Thank you so much. Also,
Where is the thing?
I can't find it. I have to go back later, but I don't want to mess with
alert box, but
that may be it. Let me see. Yeah, that probably just is it, actually. Oh, gosh. Thank you guys for subbing. Let me go back up. That way, if somebody else subscribes, if somebody new subscribes, we will get it. We'll see it. Give me just 1 second. Let me throw it all the way up here. Okay, it should be good. Now, if somebody does subscribe, we should see it. We should have it pop up right in the middle of the screen. Oh, goodness. In great tasting lemonade. Oh, gosh.
Oh, what is
Get
this?
out of here.
What's
Chips
wrong
Ahoy.
with this cookie?
I hate you, Chips Ahoy. They're the worst brand ever. That's what I'm going to do. Until we start getting paid by advertisers, I'm going to just talk bad about all the advertisers.
Oh, to do like other people do, where it's like, I hate McDonald's and McDonald's is crap unless McDonald's starts like sponsoring me.
Yep, if you want to sponsor McDonald's, hey. So yeah, vassals would be hard. Backwards Dollar says, how much is Imperial Bonds? So it's $20 a month. It's the $20 a month Patreon tier for us. That gets you citizenship. It also gets you, I think, 1 Imperial note every month. So it slowly builds you up. It also gets you a thank you at the end of streams and stuff like that. There's a whole thing. You can check out all the links to all of those in our description, actually. In the description of this video, there should be a link to our Patreon. Saul says, I'm also seriously considering making...
One.
Ooh, sorry. Leona said, more love to Tiffany than AP. Ah, got me. Tiffany, had you been waiting on that?
Yeah,
Were you waiting
I
for me
read
to
it
get to
earlier.
that? Yeah. I appreciate it, Leona. I'm glad that somebody cares for my Tiff as much as I do. I appreciate it. Saul says, I'm also seriously considering making a trade alliance with your great country. Thank you very much, Saul. And if you would like to, you should be able to go to our website, aeternianempire.wixsite.com/Imperial Market. And when you go there, you can check out our alliance tab, in which you can apply for an alliance with us. And then we can look into it and get back to you and discuss the possibility for an alliance. Backwoods says, AP, this is random and you don't have to share, but are you religious? That's a great question. So I was raised Roman Catholic, but am not currently practicing any religion. Just a personal preference. I was raised religious, like I said, Roman Catholic, but my views have since changed.
I want to answer you.
Procol says, what do you use to stream?
So he uses Streamlabs, but I think the thing that you're more curious in is why our stream may be going so well, and it's because we're automatically we directly connected the computer to our modem, so it's directly connected to the thing that literally gives us internet.
Yep. So we have the highest speed,
which is 1 gigabyte.
Yep. We have 1 gig internet, and we have that directly hooked up to this computer right now. So we're getting as fast a speed as we possibly can. Reptile says, okay, I have the seeds. Oh, wow, that's great. Thank you very much, Reptile. That means a lot. I'm excited to get some Greenistan seeds. Backwoods says, cool AP, I'm a non-denominational Christian, but I hold a lot of Native American beliefs. Ooh, that's very cool.
Ooh,
I would... what's up?
the Native American beliefs,
Yeah.
like my Microsoft account, literally the profile picture is the 10, like, it's a similar thing in the 10 Commandments, but it's for like Native Americans, and it's like super cool. But that's like my picture.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it's super nice. I really like it.
Yeah, I was going to say, you should tell me more about your beliefs, Backwoods. I would love to learn more about you. Please email me, hit me up on Discord. I'd be curious to learn more about Native American belief systems. Also, how that works into being a non-denominational Christian. That is like an interesting mix of things. I suppose it makes sense, especially for being in, I think you said Mississippi, as far as, you know, the United States and assimilation of Native American cultures and stuff. But it's very cool. Are you Native American yourself? Saul says, any good places to order a custom flag?
There's a lot of online sources, but they're expensive.
Yes, there are a lot of online sources. They are expensive. This flag behind us was expensive. I didn't pay for it. Steven paid for it. Thank you, Steven, again for the flag. Percall says 1 gigabyte. Wow, my speed is like 250 megabytes. Yeah, it's a little bit expensive. It's a little bit expensive, but we stream and we watch Netflix and stuff all the time, so it's worth it for us. But then again, if you're not paying your internet bill, just be glad you're not paying it. Like, free internet is better than anything. So, Reptile Keeper says, I'm gonna try and send a pic through your Gmail. Okay, look out for the pics. Oh, thank you very much. I'm excited to see them. Leanna said, religion is for people who fear hell. Spirituality is for people who have survived it. David Bowie. Ooh, that's a cool tweet. That's a tweet. That's a cool quote. Thank you. Tiffany knows what I'm trying to say. She's my translator. Yeah, that's a cool quote. I feel like David Bowie passed not too many years ago, right? How did you feel at that time? Is that something? Is that somebody who was a particular inspiration for you, Leanna? Percall says BRB. Torrance says, can a fellow micronationalist reach out to you for tips and advice? Absolutely. One of the biggest things I would say, a lot of people come to me with very similar questions. So first, I would recommend you check out all of our How to Micronation series and all of our Guide to Micronational Economics series, both of which are in playlists on the channel. So if you go back to our channel, if you click our channel icon, go back to our channel, look under playlists, you should be able to find an economics series playlist and a How to Micronation playlist, both of which will show you a lot of what you need to know. And then if you have questions from there, I would love to talk to you about it.
We're always going to go looking through most of your videos because you kind of give out tips and advice as you go along in the stream.
That's true. And hang out on stream, check out our previous streams. We have like specific topic-based streams as well. So if you're interested in learning about particular subjects, a lot of time you can find that on those streams. But yeah, thank you, Torrance. And also if you subscribed recently, thank you. I appreciate it. Backwoods says, I guess my Native American beliefs come from my hunting and killing of animals and respecting them, and I grew up with a giant respect for nature. And no, I'm not a native. I think I'm 15% native, but I'm a white boy. Interesting.
Well, I'm white, but I'm 25% Native American.
Yeah. And it's very cool. Like, it's very cool to understand. Oops. Let me jump off of this whole ad. Oh, we love ads, don't we? Everybody loves these
so good.
ads. Such a good ad.
Need some more protein.
Yeah.
You gotta get that protein shake with the chocolate mountain on it.
I hate specifically that brand of protein drink. Nobody drink that brand specifically. Every other one is better than that one. But yeah, I respect it. It's really cool. I would love to learn about what you have learned about Native American beliefs over the years. Also, how long have you been ascribing to Native American belief systems? I know you said you had grown up with a respect for hunting, but when did that turn from an inner felt passion to an actual full-fledged belief system for you?
So the next one I think is just asking, would you allow multiple religions in your country? Because religions can cause a holy war or start a holy war.
Mm-hmm. So yes, we would allow multiple religions in our country. The only thing that we request is that the practicers of those religions be specifically respectful of our laws. So as long as they respect the average dwellings and livings and doings of society, there should be no problems at all. Yes, we want diversity in our religious experience. Background Dweller says, having a lot of native DNA isn't uncommon on my area because, like settlers mixing with the natives and all. Yep, absolutely. Well, and especially I think a lot of people don't know where their ancestry comes from because a lot of native, a lot of African, and a lot of all cultures really have been kind of washed away by, even Latin American and stuff cultures have been washed away uh, by just assimilation into the grand culture of the United States. And I think it's caused a lot of people to actually be curious about where their ancestry traces to in the United States. Reptile says, I sent a pic of seeds. There are 3. Ooh, let's hit them up. Let's see if we can find them. Let's see if I can find those. Excuse me, Tim. Gmail. Ooh, nope. Nope.
You're gonna show up your Gmail.
I sure am not.
You sure we're about to?
I am not, though. Ooh. I'm not seeing that image yet, but I'm excited for it. I may have to check back later because we are over time now. But I will check back later and we can post it for another stream. Real quick. Reptile says, I sent a pic to the seeds. Torrance said, I have watched your series. I'm looking for some in-depth conversation with fellow micronationalists. Sure, absolutely, Terrence. I would love to talk to you about it. Leona says, backwoods, my belief system is a mixture of Native American and Celtic paganism. That's also very cool. Saul says, the playlist you DM'd me was very helpful. Thanks. Of course, I'm glad to help. Reptile Keeper says, house? Or no, it's a pug. It's a pug puppy. Leona says, I love Tiffany's smile. Got him. Reptile says cat in a box, and then a whole bunch of other things. Percal says Backwood says, when I was little, I was like, well, animals probably have souls, and I should, like, use every part of the animal. Makes sense. Reptile Keeper said, lady with a hat? I don't know what that is exactly. Reptile says, not the best picture. Percal says, you're going on Gmail. Never mind. Oh, did you? Oh, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate you. Backwoods says, I just checked my DNA test. I am 24.4% native, 0.4% African. The rest is various countries in Europe. Interesting. That's cool. Reptile says it's not Reptile Keeper's email. Oh, okay. Percal says, please, when you're done. I got you. I appreciate it, everybody. And yeah, thank you all so much for hanging out on the stream and helping us out.
Shout out to your patrons.
Of course. Tiffany brought up a great point. Shout out to our patrons. Thank you so much to Stephen Vince of the House of Others for being one of our patrons and our highest paying patron as well.
Probably the longest.
And longest paying. That is true. And longest paying patron at our $20 tier. As well, thank you very much to Leanna, who is also one of our patrons. And at the $1 tier, helping for her citizenship. Yeah, that's fantastic. I appreciate you guys. And I hope you've enjoyed hanging out.
Bye, Backwoods.
Bye, Backwoods. It's good to see you. Thank you again for hanging out and helping us to grow our watch time hours. It means a lot to hang out with you and learn more about you. Again, please let me know if you apply for citizenship. I'm excited to hear from you. The email should start with Scarlet. Gotcha. I will check it out. But yeah, until then, I appreciate you guys, and I can't wait to see you soon. Roland said, hey, Aeternia forever. Roland said, good night, AP and Tiffany, and everyone have a great weekend. Have a great weekend, everyone. Have a good night. Aeternia forever. Lana said, Aeternia forever. Hey. You're pretty cool.
Yeah, you're pretty cool. Reptile Keeper says good night, guys.
Everybody
So does
have a good
Prakal.
night.
Prakal says bye. Bye, Prakal.
Good night, Prakal. Good night, Reptile
Okay, Cal.
Keepers.
Was it Call or Cal? Which one is it?
Prakal.
Okay.
Also, Lay's jalapeno cheddar sucks. I'm calling out all the ads. Every ad that comes in, we're talking bad about them. Have a good day, everyone. Have a good night. Wherever you are in the world, we appreciate you. And we are excited for a new, beautiful, glorious Eternian day. See you guys.